Two, one. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. The DNC, the Democratic National Convention, is in full swing. So, what do you guys think? Have any of you seen night one? Featured a host of speakers. Very strong applause for Hillary Clinton and certainly President Joe Biden. AOC, Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, also spoke at the convention. Fairly quick speech, but she certainly had her time to get in front of the mic. But we've seen night one of the Democratic National Convention. Now, tonight, I believe you get Obama and his wife. But we're going to be asking right off the bat, in regards to the Democratic National Convention, I want to hear from the folks on the left and the right. How do you feel in regards to the direction of this country? Do you feel any concerns in regards to the candidates running? Now, the race is close. There are some areas where Kamala has the lead, but there are areas where Trump has the lead. So it still is anybody's race. But what I want to ask you folks is, do you have any major concerns? Let's say if your candidate doesn't win, or if your candidate does win, how do you feel about the direction of America? That is what the live stream is titled, The Direction of America. And for you folks who may have watched the DNC, I'm going to assume, with it being a Democratic National Convention, the overwhelming majority of the folks that watched it were Democrats. So for my MAGA side of the house, I'm assuming most of you folks did not watch it anyway. Maybe you caught some of the clips, some of the excerpts, because the Democrats did not likely watch the RNC. That's just how it works. You're not going to sit there as a Democrat watching, Hulk Hogan and Kid Rock and all of that stuff, and Trump and J.D. Vance and all these folks give a speech. That's just how it works. You watch the side you favor. But we're asking, in regards to these two candidates, Trump and Kamala Harris, do you have any concerns in regards to the direction of this country? And how are you feeling about the election? I mean, we have our candidates now. Biden is out of it. I know a lot of Democrats were a bit hesitant on sending Biden forth to represent the Democratic Party, but there's a lot more satisfaction, for lack of a better word, for the Democratic Party in regards to Kamala Harris. I still personally do not believe, and I may be wrong, you guys can tell me this in the comments, but I still personally don't believe there is a lot of love for Kamala. I still believe it is mostly hatred for President Trump. I believe she may have a more personal supporters than Biden, but I still don't believe Kamala Harris is a Democrat fan favorite. Most of her energy is coming from the I don't like Trump, the anyone but Trump, the never Trumper crowd. I still believe that. However, when it comes to President Trump, most of his energy is coming from folks who love him. They're not voting against Kamala in most cases. There is the Nikki Haley crowd, folks who may have been going with Nikki Haley thinking Trump was too old or maybe too bombastic. And now they've came back home because Trump is all they have. So there is some of that, but I do believe overwhelmingly it's on the Democratic side, where folks are not voting because they like the candidate being put forth. They're voting because they dislike the other guy just that much. So I do see it that way. However, I want to get from you folks, how do you feel about the direction of this country? 77 days. That's all we have into election day. 77 days. Still in the middle of summer. Does it feel like it's this damn close? The whole thing is coming to a head. And by the way, some folks can vote earlier than that. But 77 days, that is all we have before we're on here discussing who is going to be our next president. 77 days. We're talking about, obviously, what Biden should do on the way out. How many of you went by way of yes or no in the comments? I've asked this before, but I want to see if the audience has changed. By way of yes or no in the comments, how many of you folks believe that Biden should pardon his son? Once the election is over, November 4th or 5th or whatever it is, he's still president for 2 months. He can make all sorts of decisions with little no accountability, considering he doesn't have to run again. He can do all kinds of shit. So how many of you folks believe he should pardon his son? Because if Trump, now also after the election, he'll know who won or whatever. But let's say, for instance, Trump wins in November. Biden has 2 months to decide, does he want to leave the mercy of his son up to the Trump campaign? So let's say Biden loses, and now his son could be up to the mercy of the Trump campaign. Keep in mind, there are other crimes people believe that Hunter Biden committed that he has not been charged for yet. If it was your son and you lost the election to your main rival, would you leave your son out there so that your main rival has the right to decide what happens to him? Certainly after your rival has been accusing you of weaponizing the DOJ to go after him, would you leave your son out there? Or would you pardon your own kid? So look in the comments. Right up, and see somebody said, I would. The question is, will Harris pardon Trump? Damn. That's a whole show in itself. Harris is a prosecutor. And I'll go straight to the box. I'll go straight to the comment section and then the box. But I will just say this. Not only is Kamala Harris, she has a history of locking folks up, but the problem is, when you got Trump calling her stupid, calling her dumb, talking about her laugh, insinuating she slept her way up to the top, I don't think he's doing a lot to make her want to pardon him. I'm just going to leave it at that. So we'll go straight to the comment section. That's not going to happen, said Fred Inco. Yeah, I don't see Kamala Harris as pardoning Trump. I just think that Trump has taken really all of his political races, really all of them. I think he takes politics too personal and says things that normally would be crossing the line. I mean, like talking about Ted Cruz's wife and things like that. That normally would cross the line. So I don't know if Kamala Harris will pardon him simply because the way he goes at things. No, she will not. She will jump on his coffin. Ricky Davis, that's a bit cruel. That's a bit cruel. So we're going to go ahead and start the program off. You know how we always operate. We are MAGA friendly. MAGA are always my preferred guests. We get a lot of liberals on TikTok lately, but MAGA is the preferred guest. Liberals are welcome on the program. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. So you don't have to agree with anybody in the comment section. You damn sure don't have to agree with the host. We go left of Bernie Sanders to him having dinner with QAnon. Everybody gets to speak. That's how free speech works. So going straight out to start the program, Harry Schulson. Good afternoon, Harry. Welcome to the program. Don't piss me off today, handsome liberal. Angel, I'll see what I can do. I'll try my best. Harry, good afternoon.
How you doing? What's going on?
I'm doing good. So how are you feeling about the direction of this country?
Yeah, I watched the DNC night one. I think it was much better than the RNC if you're just speaking objectively.
What made it better?
The production was better. The energy was obviously better. The quality, the substance, what they were talking about, the rhetoric. Sure, if you're a Republican, we know it's all lies, but at least they had a plan vote. Like they had legitimate concerns that they were addressing. They're talking about, the price gouging stuff. They're talking about.
You don't think controlling you don't think controlling the border, getting the economy back on track is a legitimate concern?
As in what the DNC was talking about?
No, the RNC. Trump is talking about the border, too many folks coming in. You don't think they had legitimate concerns?
The RNC wasn't too much of that. There was a lot of immigrants on stage. The first day of the RNC, it was like 10 black guys in a row. They were pandering to black people. They were pandering to immigrants. They were pandering to women. There wasn't much on the immigration and, the economy stuff. That's, it's classic conservatism for the past 45 years. So, and then you look at the Democrats. They refined their plan. They didn't run on woke. They didn't run on, green energy. When AOC got up on stage, what did she do? She said, Trump, you're not a patriot. I'm a patriot.
Yeah.
6 years ago, in 2016, when Trump said, make America great again, the DNC said, no, America was never great. America sucks. And they completely, I think that turned a lot of people off. Now in 2016, they go, no, Trump, you're not patriotic. We're the patriots. And I think, that plays well. And what does Trump do? He goes, well, when the Democrats go low, we go high. And he's being very moderate. And then what happened at the DNC? They're chanting, lock him up during the Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I saw that. You saw Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was eating that shit up too when they were like yelling, lock him up. She didn't try to stop him or anything. She had a smirk just like Trump normally has. She was enjoying it.
Well, I don't know. Hillary, she was like, where the fuck was this energy in 2016? Where were you guys?
Well, the Bernie Sanders supporters have, now, if I'm correct, you were a Bernie Sanders supporter, right?
No. I was Trump all the way through.
Okay. Well, the Bernie Sanders supporters have buyer's remorse. That's what happened with Hillary Clinton in 2016, and a lot of them are upset.
Like they stole it from them. Yeah. They felt like the DNC stole it from them, which I think is it's a fair point. But, I'm a conservative. I think the Democrats, the party is satanic, and they're running on unions, which have destroyed this country.
You think, you think unions have destroyed America?
Oh, yeah. Unions, it makes it impossible to have a real industrialized America because it's an ever-shrinking number of jobs that require such a high pay that it makes it impossible to do any work because the number of union members is constantly shrinking. But the amount of power these unions have, they're up to the scale of now some political organizations. They have power, or some more than political organizations.
Have you seen what has happened to employee benefits, employee compensation, employee job security since we got rid of unions?
Unions have completely gutted our we cannot make anything here. It makes it impossible. Whether it's there's not a number. Anytime you add a union to a sector, the number of available jobs in the next 10 to 20 years, it always goes down. Sure, the benefits for these people that have the available positions, yeah, it's a great gig. Not doubting that. But it destroys the ability to move forward because we can't hire anybody. The power that these unions have to leverage
So you don't want the employees to be able to unite to defend themselves.
I mean, in the kindergarten level, that sounds great and all, but when they have such massive powers now that they are bigger than the organization themselves, if you look at the transportation union, they have more power now than the transportation department themselves. The union is almost more influential than the department, and that's the issue. It becomes like a monster that you can't control.
Yeah, but what do you think would happen if everybody who had transportation jobs like the transit, let's say the police have a union. If the police got rid of the union, do you think it might affect their own job security and compensation?
No. You think they would get rid of the police if they got rid of the union? No, it's insane.
No, they wouldn't get rid of them. They would pay them substantially less. Their jobs, the same thing they're doing to employees work nationwide. If your company loses its union, you likely are going to get paid less. Your raises are not going to be guaranteed. Your health care is going to get worse. Your job security is going to go out the window. That's what has happened.
That's for the people who have the jobs. But when you have these unions, it makes it hard to bring more people on. The ability to join these unions nowadays, these people wait until they're 65, 70 years old to die. It's an ever-shrinking amount of jobs. Name me one union that's expanded over the last 20 years, a major union. It doesn't happen. We want an expansive economy that grows, not an economy that looks after a forever shrinking group of people, right? Our economy has to be expansive. That's just economics 101.
Yeah, okay. We totally differ on the power. I mean,
you're talking union. I get it. If it's personal. If you're personally in a union, yeah, I get it.
I have not been in a union in about 20 years, but I was in a union twice in my life. I used to be an engineer with AT&T in the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Union, IBEW, and I was also a employee in the Teamsters Union with United Parcel Service. And I can tell you, people who do what we were doing with our pay, who do not have a union, everything across the board for them is less. Like UPS compared to FedEx.
No, I'm not doubting that. I get the UPS union is cooking, but it does make it hard, especially for expansive projects where you're going to bring on hire 25,000 people. This stuff just isn't really possible. You don't see it. That's why America's industrial sector has just been gutted. It doesn't exist.
Well, let's take your statement. The American industrial segment has been gutted. Look at who is replacing us, that they don't want to pay the union employees. Look at the countries they're sending that industrialization to. Do you want to work like them? Do you want to be like that? There's no unions in those countries that they're going for. Do you think that that is an ideal situation, an ideal environment for American employees to be in?
Well, I don't think, that's why I'm against free trade, because you could never compete with a country that uses children slaves as
it ain't always kids.
Workforce.
It ain't always kids. It's full-grown adults getting treated like shit too.
Who's mining the lithium? To really be competitive in the economy, you need child slaves, right? And I'm not for child slaves.
No, wait a minute, hold on. It ain't always children that Americans are competing. It's full-grown adults getting treated like shit too. It ain't all kids.
Yeah, that's why I'm not for free trade. I think we need to build up the American sector and have like an economy that can, live off of itself and not live off of globalists.
But you want the.
So with globalism, you export all the essential parts of the economy out to foreign nations, and it's a security risk because some of the most important things that make your country run are now in the hands of sometimes your adversaries like China, Russia.
But you want the corporations to dictate how much people get paid.
Corporations? Well, yeah, obviously it shouldn't be like I'm not for like socialism.
So wait a minute, you understand the goal of a corporation is to make money and pay as little as possible for labor. You want them to decide how much the working Americans get paid.
Yeah, opposed to some like union fat cat that has, all this power from these.
And you don't see the problem. Wait a minute. You don't see the problem of an American worker working for a company whose main goal is to reduce the cost of labor. You don't see any problem with that.
No, obviously there has to be some sort of balancing act when it comes to worker rights and.
But you don't agree with government oversight.
But I don't believe that handing it over to these fat cat unions that are against growth, they're against job hiring, they're against expansion of the company.
But hold on. If you don't agree with government oversight, or as you call it, socialism, who's going to tell the corporations to treat people right?
There should be government regulations when it comes to, economic trade.
Give me some examples. Give me some examples. How?
How?
Yeah.
Like in what sector?
Do you believe in a minimum wage? Do you believe in, give me what you.
Yeah, minimum wage is cool.
Should it go up with the cost of inflation?
Yeah, I think that's something I'm not against that.
Okay. Because right now it has not, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, same with anyone's wages. If anyone's wages are competing with the cost of real inflation and you're actually making more money off a raise with like real value of your money, it doesn't exist anywhere, let alone minimum wage.
All right. Now, you still are voting for Trump this time, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like hold my nose and vote for Trump. I've been part of this Groyper War 2 thing. Have you been a fan? Have you been hearing about this?
Groyper War?
No, Groyper. Like, so Nick Fuentes, he's been on this Trump expose thing where he says the Trump campaign has left us for like this moderate Nikki Haley style campaign.
Wait. Nick Fuentes, the white supremacist, said the Trump campaign is quote unquote left us? Is he saying the campaign used to be with him?
Well, he's talking about like white Americans. Yeah, like 2016. Like,
he's a white supremacist, though. What does he mean by they left us?
How is he a white supremacist?
He's an admitted white. He isn't admitted.
No, he's not. Who told you that? The ADL?
So Nick's
friends with Kanye West.
What the fuck does that mean?
Friends with Kanye. He's not a white supremacist? That's a lie. That's slander. That's like how they call Trump a white supremacist. You think Trump is a white supremacist?
Okay, so Nick Fuentes is not he's not a racist at all, is what you're saying.
Well, racist. I mean, what do you like? Everything is racist. Like if I say that, like,
No, it's a yes or no question. It's a yes or no question. Is Nick Fuentes a racist?
No, he's a Christian. He loves everybody. He thinks that everyone should be, like, we should love everyone. But when it comes to, he's not afraid to criticize black people. He's not afraid to criticize Jewish people.
Nothing wrong with
Some
that.
of these groups that you would consider protected. I mean, is it racist if I criticize George Floyd? A lot of black people would say yes. No. But it's obviously any black person that has a decent understanding of this stuff. They know if I criticize.
So what is your point about Nick Fuentes?
Black people.
So you said that Nick Fuentes is saying Trump left us for what?
Oh, for like this Nikki Haley moderate classic RNC stance opposed to like the 2016 Trump where he said he's against globalism, he's against wars, and now Trump is the only thing he's really running on is immigrant, like he wants to staple green cards to diplomas and bomb Iran. Like this campaign sucks. Like in 2016, and like.
But is there anything wrong with being a moderate? You said he left them for the Nikki Haley moderate. Is there anything wrong with being a right-wing moderate?
Yeah, totally. Right-wing moderates, they are war hawks. They hate their base, and they're Democrats in disguise, except they love war. These people do not like their constituents. Name one moderate Republican that could pack a stadium out. Like any of these people, they don't exist. No one cares about them. I mean, I'm not even a Republican. We care about Trump because he's hardcore, and that in 2016, he brought this energy that literally scared these people to death. The people at the financial districts, the people in media.
You don't like moderates.
Bill Ackman endorses them.
So you don't like moderates.
Yeah, no, we need Trump should be going when you come up on the stage and you say that you want to ban Muslims, we need to ban all immigration, mass deportation, and then you switch to, well, we should staple green cards to diplomas and go to war with Iran.
So did you agree when he said he want to ban all Muslims?
I think the stance is obviously insane. Like, I don't think that like Muslims should be banned because of Islam.
That ain't what I'm at. Did you agree when he said he wanted to ban all Muslims?
Because I'm for restricting immigration, and what did that bill do? It restricted immigration. So yeah, I support it, obviously. Okay. I think it should be more expansive. We should expand that to tons of other countries, not just Muslim countries. But I support it.
Let me ask you, I do got to move it on. You're always interested anytime you come on the program, but some Big Rooster on YouTube wants to know that you're saying you're not Republican, or what are you?
No. We are conservatives. Like if Trump said, like when Trump raised his hand in 2016 on the debate stage when they asked, so will you drop out and endorse the candidate if you don't win the primary? Or would you possibly run independent? He was the only one that didn't raise his hand. And that's literally him threatening, saying, I will blow up this fucking party if you don't vote for me. And like, that's the energy we like. I don't give a fuck about Ronna McDaniel. I don't give a fuck about Lindsey Graham. Like, any of these people, they all suck. They hate Americans. They're just as bad as Democrats.
So
we want someone who's...
So what is your political affiliation?
I'm a conservative American Christian, I think, and I'm a Groiper. I believe... I pretty much agree with Nick Fuentes on everything.
All right, you pretty much agree with Nick Fuentes on everything. I'm sure if I look into Nick Fuentes' quotes in his history, you'll be denying that. I got to move it on, though, Harry. Always a pleasure having you on.
He's funny, but
yeah,
jokes are one thing. I think jokes are cool, But he's become a lot more moderate and optical since getting a platform back. He had to work a little bit different strategy when he was banned from everything. But now that he's back on Twitter, everyone should go follow Nick on Twitter and Rumble.
All right. Appreciate you coming through. All right. Harry Schultzen. Now, like I say, folks, it's not about agreeing or disagreeing. It's all about free speech. Now, Nick Fuentes, I do believe Nick Fuentes is a hell of a lot more to the right than my last guest stated. Now, he said that he agrees with everything that Nick Fuentes says. He says he's not a racist, he's not a white supremacist. I do believe that there is evidence out there to the contrary, but we'll keep the program moving. Trump is actually the closest option to moderate, says Joshua G. Well, I don't totally disagree with that, but the problem is, Trump could certainly be a moderate. I'm not disagreeing with that, but Trump will go with whoever supports him the most. And a large portion of Trump's support is not coming from moderates. It's coming from far right. So yeah, if the moderate base of the Republican Party or of voting Americans show Trump the path to victory, he would start implementing more moderate policies. But right now it's mostly far right. So that's where he's going. Trump is kind of like a transactional guy. He rewards those who reward him. Yeah, alter ego. Appreciate the hat and mustache. So continuing on with the program, the one and only Dencal. Good afternoon, Dencal. Welcome back to the program. I'm assuming, Dencal, you may have heard a few things with my last caller that you slightly disagree with. Good afternoon, Dencal.
Yeah, slightly. One thing that I agree with him that I'm glad that's coming to fruition is that Trump threatened, and now he's making it happen. He's going to destroy their party.
Oh, wait. You're saying that Trump threatened to destroy the Republican Party?
No, I was saying what your last call.
Oh, yeah.
He was saying that he liked it that Trump, when they were asking them those questions about
him raising his hand and saying, "I'll blow this whole thing up."
Yeah. I'm glad that part is coming true, because he's going to drive that whole party off a cliff, and all of him talking to everybody right now is using the Republican Party as a vehicle to get to where they want to go.
Yeah.
Trump is not a conservative. He's not a moderate. He's none of those things they keep calling him. He's not a conservative. He's none of that stuff. But he's utilizing that base. He's using that base of finances and votes to get to his final agenda, which is ultimate power.
Yeah, I believe, as I stated, I see Trump as transactional. Like I think you're saying the same thing, just a different way, but he's transactional. Whoever is going to get him where he needs to be, I think that's the policies that are going to win out.
Right, and he did that. He did the exact same thing with the Heritage Foundation and Project 2025. He was all on board until he saw that people were terrified of what that stuff said. Then he said, "I don't know those people at all. I don't know who they're crazy."
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be to let that one go. I think there's just simply too many links to President Trump, and as I mentioned on yesterday's show, the lack of outrage coming from Trump and Trump supporters kind of speaks volumes. I mean, if this stuff that is so damning to Trump is completely fabricated, completely made up, and Trump has nothing to do with it, they sure ain't speaking out very much. Well, I didn't have nothing to do with it. Let's move on. No, it's not going to be that easy. I mean, his name is in.
He said some of that stuff is crazy. He should be able to come out at one of these rallies and tell us which parts are crazy, and which parts are not.
Yeah. Well, the problem is he hired a lot of the authors of it. I mean, a lot of the folks that wrote Project 2025 are people that he hired, and he's not criticizing any of these folks.
And he's going to put them back into his administration if he gets hired. He started out with Lewandowski. These are people who are active in creating this Project 2025 situation.
So how are you feeling, though? I mean, did you watch the DNC last night?
Oh yeah, with a big smile on my face.
So then my next question should be pretty easy. How are you feeling about the direction of this country in regards to your candidate?
Oh my meter, as far as how I'm feeling, is almost pegged out. I think the way things are, anything could happen between now and and the election. But I think if he's able to get a ceasefire with the Palestinians, if he's able to get that done before the election and get all of those uncommitted people to go ahead and just acknowledge that they're going to vote, they're going to vote blue regardless.
I don't see that though. Here's the problem with the protesters angry with the Biden-Harris administration about not getting a ceasefire. Like I said on yesterday's show, what do you think Trump is going to do? I mean, like if you're pissed off that this is going on too long or that Biden is supplying Israel with weapons, do you really think Trump is going to listen to you? For me, like, what do you think's going to happen if Trump wins?
Right, and Joe and Kamala are the only two people out there vocally saying to Bibi, "Hey, you need to stop this."
Yeah.
Joe is the only one providing, he's providing humanitarian. He built a pier to try to help these people, and they're coming out uncommitted. Look, those people, I don't believe were ever going to vote for Trump. They're just using their position to try to, push policy, which I understand. That's what people do in a political party.
Yeah.
But so they out there shaking the fences out there in front of the convention, like for what? They actually have a deal that Biden got Bibi to sign.
Yeah, and well, but the thing about it is that the Republicans are certainly using that these folks are still unhappy. I mean, CNN cut to the protesters several times. Now there were protesters at the RNC. They didn't show it, so for some reason, I think CNN is trying to get a little bit of clicks and likes. They're showing the rioters at the DNC, that protesters, rioters, whatever you want to call it. They didn't show the protests. There were folks protesting in Milwaukee against the Republicans too.
There's literally protesters at every convention, right or left, every time. But if you watched, because I tuned in and I watched Fox News, and I mean, it was unfettered coverage of the protests. They just zoomed in on the people shaking the fences and said they were licking their chops, hoping there would be violence.
Yeah. So right now, where we stand, I mean, obviously the polls are still not totally of total concern right now. There's still 78 days. Who do you think got it? If you had to guess.
Hey, with the momentum and what we all probably expect from a convention bump, man, I see it hard to turn. Turning around an election is kind of like turning around like a cruise ship or aircraft carrier.
Wow.
Like it's not like you just turning around a Boston Whaler and you can just flip it around. So I'm trying to think of what Trump can do going to these rallies. What can he do to get people to fully change their mind? I don't see it because he's got is the same routine.
Yeah. Well, and by the way, DJ Julio, good to see you back. Appreciate the support. Probably the number one thing that you're hearing from the likes of Karl Rove, Nikki Haley, Kellyanne Conway is to stop the personal attacks. Stop making fun of her laugh. Stop talking about her race. I mean, because even though I understand what you're talking about, with only 78 days, it takes a while to turn around an election. Trump is still leading, even with Democrats, on who would be best for the economy, best for the border, and best to bring down crime and inflation. He still is leading on those issues. So it's not over for him yet. He just probably has to change his strategy a bit.
Right, but every single person that's trying to tell him or say what he should do all know that he will not do it.
That's a problem.
He wouldn't be Trump. You keep saying, look, this is what he needs to do. He's never done it, and he never will. He never will change. He stood there in front of everybody, and he said, I preserve the right to just insult him.
I think the best chance for Trump would have been after that assassination attempt to go moderate in terms of the language, because he had a lot of sympathy for him after what he went through, and he chose to keep doing what you're saying, which is keep launching attacks, and lost some of the sympathy he had gained.
And I saw you. Look, I watched you. You was bamboozled too. You was like, I really think he. Yeah, it seems like he might be turning. Yeah, this might be an opportunity. Man, stop it.
Well, I've said on the program before, but I hear you, and you are correct. I was wrong. I'm willing to concede the point. But I said on the program before that I think on paper, Trump likely deserved a second term if you just looked at on paper. But all of that stuff we're talking about, the insults, the name calling, the rhetoric, it really hurt him, and unfortunately it continues to do so. And as you're rightfully pointing out, I don't think he knows how to stop. I gotta move it on. So at the end of the day, you do feel very comfortable and possibly confident in regards to how things are going.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few people change their positions after getting this new candidate. A lot of people who said that they just, you know, they had a problem with voting for Joe because he was too old.
Yeah.
You know, I just see a lot of people who are now open to the things that Kamala brought out in her economic package about trying to get people $25,000 for, you know, down payments on their houses, and trying to you know, create some tax cuts for the middle class. It's a lot of stuff there for people to chew on. And what were they saying before that? They were saying, we can't vote for her. We don't even know what her agenda is. Why don't she talk? Now that she's talked, now what are they saying? They're running out of stuff to say except for she ain't black.
And that ain't going, and that's what Nikki Haley said. Nikki Haley said Trump needs to, talking about her race is a losing strategy. I agree with you. Den Cal, appreciate you coming through.
All right, take care.
Anytime. And by the way, someone responded to my on paper comment, because I do believe on paper Trump deserved a second term. I mean, I don't think he was doing that bad of a job in regards to running this country on paper. He had a right-wing agenda like George W. Bush, but I don't think the country, plus or minus COVID, the pandemic is something different. But the first 3 years of the Trump administration, I think he deserved a second term on paper. But then all of the stuff that folks are suggesting that Americans ignore, the tweets, the insults and all that, that's a different story. But I seen someone in the comments saying, actually, on paper, Trump's economy belonged to Barack Obama. Now, there may be some legitimacy to that. I do believe that Obama handed Trump a strong economy. However, in defense of President Trump, I want to defend Trump on this whole, he wrote the coattails of Obama. By the way, before I get into it, tap the screen, 600 plus of you in here. I have not solicited that. Get the likes up to about 40,000. We can certainly do that if you let your thumbs not be lazy. This is uncensored programming. Same on TikTok. We'll be able to get YouTube. Smash that like button on YouTube. Get it up to about 75. We can make that happen. 75 on YouTube. Smash that like button. Top 3 dots in the right hand of your screen. Mr. G, yeah! Defending President Trump. C. Osby as well. Thank you folks for the hat and mustache supporting the program as always. In defense of Trump, let's say folks are correct. He inherited a good economy from President Obama. Well, fact is the economy stayed well maintained, if not improved, before the pandemic under Trump. He didn't ruin the economy. And here's what I say why I'm defending him. We know damn well that if Trump had inherited a good economy from Obama and destroyed it within the first 2 or 3 years, we'd be chastising him and blaming him for all of the destruction. But when the economy is maintained or even slightly improved, he gets no credit at all? What kind of shit is that? It makes it sound like, this is where the never Trumpers, Trump derangement syndrome stuff people criticize, because it makes it sound like the only grade Trump could get is an F. If he does a good job with the economy, it gets blamed on Obama. But if he does a bad job, now you're going to criticize him. I don't think that's fair. I do believe that once Trump was in control of the economy of this country, he had the possibility of destroying it. He didn't do that. So he deserves credit for a good economy. And as I pointed out, some metrics got better, such as the unemployment rate. 3.5% unemployment numbers under Trump at the time were some of the best numbers ever. So yeah, he inherited a good economy, but he didn't destroy it. And we would have criticized him heavily had he done that. So give him credit for not doing it. Looking in the comments, that's BS because the tax bill didn't affect the middle class yet. Well, I agree that in the future, maybe some bad decisions may be realized. But while Trump was in office, the economy was doing pretty well. People were happy about the economy. That's bad logic. It takes time for things to go bad. It took Obama 8 years to fix the economy. I'm just giving you my point. I understand a hell of a lot of you folks disagree. I see that. Wow. If you were a business owner or ran a business, you felt it when Obama became president. You said Obama just immediately, at the snap of fingers, changed everything that quickly? All right. I will say this. Obama got inaugurated in January of 2009, left office in 2017. There's no denying that from 09 to 17, the economy got better. But from 17 to 21, during the Trump years, minus the pandemic, it was continuing on an upscale. The economy was not getting bad under Trump. It was continuing to get better. Now, he may have made some decisions that later on we're going to pay for. We can debate that. But the economy was good under Trump as well. Going back to the box. Appreciate you folks that have already tapped the screen. Feel free to smash that like button. One of my subscribers, High Top. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program, High Top. You've been defending Trump because I don't think everything about Trump is bad. I criticize the hell out of him all the time, too. I don't think everything about the liberals is good or bad. And Trump is the same way. I'll give him credit where I think there may be some to do, but I'll give him criticism otherwise. Trying to bring up a guest, the box is problematic. We'll give it a second. Brother, come on, you know he's not it. I didn't say he was it. It's a difference. It's a difference. I didn't say he is the devil incarnate, but I also didn't say he was it. High Top, good afternoon. High Top, are you there? All right, apparently not. We'll move the program on. Going to the next call. Tap the screen, get the likes up to about 45,000. Can't argue with a name like Common Sense. Good afternoon, Common Sense. Welcome to asking the question, you folks. How do you feel about the direction of this country? You think we're on path to greatness? Real quick, I want to respond to a couple super chats as well. Marcus Forks. Appreciate you and Ed G for the super chat, and I apologize for my late response. I didn't get notified. Marcus Forks says white people have been demonizing black people for crime. Now they're encouraging us to vote for a criminal. I'm confused. Wow. Now, I can't deny that that's factual. I mean, blacks have been always portrayed as criminals. Go on YouTube and you see mob robberies, or you see blacks involved in robbery. I mean, the comment section is going apeshit over people talking about how blacks commit crimes. But yet Trump gets a mugshot, and he's kind of right. Everybody said, well, the blacks should identify with him. So he is correct in saying blacks have been demonized for crime. And now, folks, some of the same folks are encouraging us to vote for somebody that officially is a criminal. Whether or not you believe the charges are legit or a witch hunt or whatever the case may be, they do exist. He officially is a criminal, whether you think the charges are bullshit or not. Ed G says the party of panderers calling the GOP panderers. That was in reference to the GOP's, one of my guests, Ed Schultz, said the Democrats pander to black folks. And I don't think you realized that, Ed G. He was MAGA. He was certainly a Trump supporter. In the beginning, he sounded otherwise. I think that's why you typed that comment. Let me try again with the box. Having a little bit of trouble once again. Pat Carlson. Good afternoon. If we have to reset TikTok again, I tell you. There we go. Pat, hello, good afternoon. There. Hey.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. So
you said that on paper Trump deserved a second term.
Yes.
You're wrong. You are absolutely wrong.
Tell me why.
Let's see. Obama put together a pandemic pack.
Yeah.
Trump, he dismantled it the second he got in there.
Facts.
Trump, he thought that he could get rid of a hurricane by nuking it. He changed a hurricane with a Sharpie.
That's not a point. Hold on, hang on. I'll let you continue. First of all, the whole hurricane thing, that's not a policy. If Trump had simply shut his mouth and not did these wild things in public, and we only had his policies to go on, which is what I'm talking about, I think he would have deserved a second term.
Well, I mean, even really, what policies actually implement that really helped? I can't think of really anything.
I think his stance on defending the border is certainly better than what we have now.
Well, what? Separating families from their children? That's better?
Well,
no, it's not. There's still hundreds of kids that aren't reunited with their family because of him.
Well, it's the difference between separating families from their children as opposed to never giving them back. If you commit a crime in America while your child is with you, chances are you're going to be separated from your child. Now, not getting your kid back is a whole different story. I'm not agreeing with the part where you keep the kid forever, but in the course of a crime, you're likely going to lose contact with your child for a while.
And then there's, all right, so but you see, he separated them at the border. He didn't know whether they were criminals or anything else. He separated them at the border. Why would you take kids from their families? Because they came across the border?
If you're coming into the country illegally, you're committing a crime at that spot. That's where you normally lose your children for a minute at the scene of the crime. They don't put you in the police car with your kid usually. You lose your child at the scene of the crime generally.
And then you've got, all the rhetoric. I mean, for example, policies. Harris is talking about policies, things that she wants to do. Trump gets up there day after day at these rallies, and he doesn't talk not one bit about policies, about what he's going to do to fix this country. He talks about Harris being on the front of Times. He talks about the presidential honor being more valuable than the Congressional Medal of Honor. He talks about everything but policies. He talks about nothing.
I'm not gonna debate that.
He goes economy. He talks about our economy. We're gonna have a great economy.
I'm not gonna. Hold on. I'm not gonna challenge any of that. You're correct. He talks about a lot of things that are personal that has nothing to do with policy. By the way, on TikTok, or better yet YouTube, Jeanette says 85,000 missing children under Trump. Is that your same take on that?
Yeah.
Wow.
When they were coming across the border, not just the people who were sneaking in, but people that were coming in, my understanding, I would have to check it, but it was even people who were coming across the border legally asking for asylum that he was separating from their families.
Wow. I can't defend that. I don't know if that's valid, but if that is the case, that should damn near be criminal. Wow, that's bad. 85,000?
What the things that Trump has done, both in office and out of office, is just mind-boggling. Like I said, you're going to change a hurricane with a Sharpie pen. You're going to sit there and we're trying to get clean energy. So we create windmills to create energy. And Trump is like, well, when that windmill stops, you lose your TV. It doesn't work like that, Trump.
No, there are batteries involved. But Ed G now we're talking about missing families. On YouTube, Ed G points out, when Obama separated record numbers of families, was that okay? Because he was doing it also.
No. There is no reason to separate families.
I don't know. I agree with you, but I think to some degree it was being done as a deterrent so that folks wouldn't come over here.
Well, it's just like, Trump, talks about all the illegals coming in here. And when Trump refers to illegals, he's not just talking about the people who swim across the Rio Grande. He's talking about everybody that comes across the border, and is requesting asylum. Now, my personal opinion is I don't care who's president. If they really want to fix some of these issues at the border, first of all, sign an executive.
I'm getting a lot of calls coming in here. We can go back away from that.
Courts.
You said, wait, you said what?
24-hour court sessions.
But can we
Courts.
can we handle that many people with that many court cases?
Well, that's why I said 24-hour courts. Have that court run round the clock, to vent these people to find out if their cases are legitimate. If their cases are legitimate, you can't blame somebody for wanting to come from a third world country for the American dream. That's what this country was made of, is the American dream. You can't fault them for that. But if they're just wanting to come here because, hey, they want to come here, they don't have the problems that they're claiming, then ship their ass back.
Yeah. But what about to
go and give them a court date and then send them off into the country, and with no way of tracking them, that's not right either on the American people.
So when you look at the likes of Trump versus the Biden-Harris administration, who do you believe was better at dealing with the crisis at the border?
I'm kind of leaning towards, does Biden-Harris have problems? Yes. But let's look at the fact. They created a bipartisan bill that would help fix the border. And what did Trump do? He told the Republicans, reject it. Even though it was bipartisan, he told them to reject it because Trump does not care about the border. He really
wait. Hold on. You gave me a long answer, but I'm asking you again. When it comes to securing the border, Trump versus the Biden-Harris administration, who did a better job?
I would have to look at see the numbers to see how many came across during the two, but I don't think either one of them have really done that great of a job. Trump building the wall, for example, he said, "Oh, Mexico's going to pay for that." Mexico didn't pay for that. We did. He says, "Oh, if I get back into office, I'm going to put a 100% tariff on all these goods, and that'll, get things back over here." No, that's just going to increase the price of everything for us that much more. You go and put a tariff on a product coming across the border. Do you think they're paying for it? No, they're just going to jack up the price, and you and I are paying for it.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: we had 4 years of Trump. Do you have anything you believe that he did that was good for America?
You want my honest opinion?
That's what I got you here for.
Absolutely not.
Now, one thing good for America out of 4 years.
It's kind of funny because when Trump got elected, Trump would call me a never Trumper now. But when Trump got elected, I was for Trump for two. First, because I was a brilliant businessman, which I've come to find out he isn't. He's got failing businesses. What does it take to create a casino to go bad? The odds are all in the casino's favor, but yet he did. Trump University failed. Everything he touches seems to fail. He doesn't pay anybody, his lawyers or anybody else, right? Then the other reason why I thought it would be great, which has absolutely nothing to do with the fact of him being, able to run this country, is I'm a big WWE fan. And Trump and Vince McMahon both had wrestlers represent him. And the loser got to cut the other one's hair off. Well, Trump got to cut Vince McMahon's hair off. And I thought, how cool would it be to be able to go up and shake Trump's hand and say, "Congratulations on shaving Vince McMahon's head."
All right, so nothing good at all. You understand. You understand. My audience is going to suggest you have an acute case of Trump derangement syndrome. Not one thing good out of 4 years. I give you the last word.
Look, as far as the economy, unless you're really, 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 really bad, to go and change a good economy into a disaster economy overnight, that doesn't happen. Although it did under Trump's regime because of COVID, though. COVID then shut down the entire world, which in turn sent the economy through the shitter.
Right.
You know, do I actually blame really Trump for COVID? Not entirely, but he could have did more from the get-go instead of saying, oh, it's nothing but the common cold. It'll be gone in 2 weeks. You know, he let the people down there.
All right. I got to move it on, Pat. Point taken.
Always good talking with you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Wow. Not one thing good all 4 years. And I did see a few folks in the comments that agree with my last caller. Wow. It's hard. You know, listen, folks, even though I lean left on some social issues, it's hard to imagine any president in office for 4 solid years that does not do one good thing for the nation. I wouldn't put Trump in that category. I mean, he did pardon a few folks, certainly didn't go anywhere near as far as he should have, but some folks that were in jail that shouldn't have been, at least they got out. Nothing good at all. Wow. All right, tap the screen, get the likes up to about 60,000. Over 700 of you guys in here. You could be anywhere you want to be this Tuesday evening. I appreciate you guys rolling with me. As always, we run an uncensored program. By the way, if you enjoy uncensored content from all sides of the aisle, all walks of political life, you're in the right place. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. You can be critical of anybody in the comments, including the host. That's how free speech works. If you enjoy that type of dialogue, follow the program on TikTok, a subscription on YouTube, if you will. Mexico said they weren't paying for the wall. That is Vicente Fox. Coming from Bandito in the comments says, Mexico said they weren't paying for the wall. Mexico president told Trump, spend America's money for the wall. It's a waste because Mexico makes tunnels. You know, now Vicente Fox is the one that was quoted as saying, we're not paying for that fucking wall, the former president of Mexico. But here's the issue. I hadn't heard about the part where, you know, the guy responded with Mexico makes tunnels. But the response to that should be obvious. Why the hell is your country so fucked up that people are making tunnels to get under this wall? As opposed to using this to be critical of President Trump, maybe you need to fix your country. You're admitting that even if we put up a wall, they're going to dig holes underground to escape whatever you've done to your nation. I don't think that puts Mexico in a good light at all. Now, obviously, he attacked Trump. Fancy Prancy. Yeah. Finally. Hey, appreciate that. But yeah, why would you boast that we build tunnels? Is your country that jacked up? That's how I would have responded if I was Trump. Going back to the box, and real quick, Trump is toast, getting beat everywhere that counts, says Waldo. I don't know if I agree with everywhere. I think he's still, Georgia, I believe Trump is leading, and I think he is leading in Nevada. I think there's a couple swings, but he is losing in most of them. Now, I just don't agree with your statement is Trump is getting beat everywhere that counts. I would change it to most. Not everywhere, but it's enough where the Trump campaign is certainly being worried about it. Going back to the box, tap the screen. Should be around 60,000. We can certainly make that happen if you folks show the program a little bit of support. Billy Clint, 739. Good afternoon. Well, actually, most people are coming from Central America, not saying Mexico does not have its problems, but the problem is this. Even if they're not coming from Mexico, Mexico still looks jacked up because people are walking through their country from top to bottom. Why is that even allowed? Where is the security for your damn country? You gonna tell me this person walked all the way from Venezuela or Guatemala through your country? Do you even have paperwork that they were here? How the hell did they do that? You got a whole caravan of people walked all the way through your country on foot, hitchhiking rides? It kind of makes Mexico look insecure. Would you think not? Like, why are they? And by the way, you notice they didn't want to stop in your nation. Why is that? They're leaving the country they felt is despondent, in despair, Guatemala, Honduras, or Nicaragua, wherever they're coming from. But you notice they didn't stop in Mexico. That also speaks volumes. So like I said, Trump had a bunch of comebacks on that, but it is what it is. Try to bring a guest up. We will continue moving. Nobody is fear-mongering in Mexico like here. Look, we got a lot of fear-mongering going on in Mexico. I mean, in America. So I'm not going to disagree with your comment, but I got to assume there's probably some Mexicans complaining. It just isn't at the higher echelons in the government. Probably because the government of Mexico is not necessarily safe. The cartels have killed a lot of people. I don't know if it's safe to complain in Mexico like it is in America. But at the end of the day, they're not staying in Mexico. They're coming here. So maybe the Mexicans do not have to fearmonger as much. They're using our country as a thoroughfare. They're not even going to stay here. They're leaving. They're coming here to stay. So that might have something to do with it. But at the end of the day, I don't buy into what Trump is saying, that most of them are coming here to grape and unalive people. I don't believe that. I don't even think it's 1%. Because Trump is claiming there's 18 million of them here. If only 1% of 18 million immigrants were coming here to grape and unalive, that would be a lot. That would still be, 1% of 18 million is a whole lot of grapists and unalivers. I think that Trump has that number way inflated. Going back to the box, having a bit of issues as always every damn day, trying to bring somebody up. We'll try it again with, we'll go to Eisenhower Jr., no reference to the former president, I assume. Everything is free in the USA. I don't know what that means, Sandra. Appreciate you in here, Sandra. Sandra's a friend of the program. Everything is free in the USA. Really? Where do you live at? Well, certainly not where you live at. Hi, Top. Good afternoon.
Wow.
Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here, Tim. Sometimes I have a hard time. Yes, can you hear me?
Loud and clear now.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Sometimes I have trouble connecting. You know, when I first come on, my 5G will blink a few times. And
okay.
Then I'll finally connect. And that's what happened to us the last time.
All right. Well, good to have you on. So,
well, Tim.
Go ahead.
I hate to sound, like you said, did Trump do anything right? I don't think he did, Tim. and I hate to say it. I mean,
nothing at all. 4 years, not one thing good.
No, because, well, okay, he put out a lot of false information, like he did something. And I think people got that confused with him actually doing something. Anytime you ask Trump during his presidency, was he going to do a certain thing? He said, well, we're thinking about it. We're going to look into it. And I'll get back to you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, damn, he's been out of office 4 years and he still hasn't got back to it. and a lot of people really took that, especially his ardent supporters, they actually took that as he had did something. And he didn't. Like he threw it out there. Okay, just like with the unemployment thing. When Obama left office, I think unemployment was at 4.5.
He got it down to 3.5. Trump got it down to 3.5. Is that not a good thing?
Oh, wait a minute. Look where Obama came from with it, though. Obama came from 10.
We're not talking about Obama, though. Trump,
I'm saying, Tim, what I'm saying, he took it from 10 down to 4.5.
Okay.
And what that shows, he was trending in a certain direction. I mean, it was constantly going down under Obama. So it made sense that when Trump came in, those numbers didn't stop right there at the door. It kept trending in that direction. Okay, so now, okay, like you said, you give him credit for holding it where it was, right?
Right.
But when it came time for his policy to take effect, that's when he mishandled the COVID situation. And everything hit rock bottom right behind that. So how can you give him credit? It's basically when Obama's wave left, it was time for him to put up or shut up. He mishandled the pandemic, and everything bottomed out. The economy bottomed out and everything. This is when his time to shine came, and he damn sure didn't shine.
What about getting us out of Afghanistan? Any credit for that?
Did he actually do that?
He made a deal with the Taliban. I'm not a big fan of that, but he did make a deal to end that conflict and bring us home. Yes, he did that.
Okay. So now let me go there.
Okay.
So when it came time for him to have a peaceful transition of power, in which he should have briefed the Biden administration, the incoming administration, he should have briefed them on what was going on. No, he didn't do that. So when Biden took office, he was behind the 8 ball. He had to hit the ground. He couldn't hit the ground running. He had to, all this stuff that he should have knew about leaving Afghanistan and everything, he had to catch up with that after he got in office.
No, you don't really, wait, hold on. You don't really, you don't believe that, do you? The same generals, the same joint, wait, hold on. We didn't change the military. We didn't, you got all kinds of noise going on.
He didn't change the narrative, Tim, but like I'm saying, if the man hit the ground and he had to make that call, I give Biden credit for having the balls to actually pull the plug on that.
So you don't give Trump any credit for that?
Everybody wants to cry about the 13 soldiers that got unalived, but Biden getting us from over there, that probably saved hundreds of more soldiers from getting unalived over there.
Now, let me ask you this. Ed G on YouTube makes a point. We got a viewer that says, you can't bring up Obama because Obama is your Lord and Savior. Are you just giving Obama this hierarchy?
Well, wait a minute. I mean, you know, it cracks me up when I hear somebody say Obama was our Lord and Savior and everything. But y'all are the ones that run around buying Trump Bibles and stuff like that. you know, that's kind of amazing to me.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Yeah, buying a Trump Bible is, I can't argue with your point there. I got to move it on, though, because you got all kinds of, there's a bunch of echoes and things going on. This is obviously our first time talking. Don't be a stranger, come back, but I do got to move it on. Yeah, there's a lot of noise with that connection, but there's another caller, folks. Trump did not do one thing good for America, and he was making the case on it. I disagree. But I get things wrong sometimes. I always enjoy conceding points if I believe I'm wrong. I don't know if I'm wrong on this one, but that is yet another caller that believes Trump didn't do one damn thing good for America. That's pretty strong. I said the same thing when folks said it about Obama or say it about Biden. By the way, Trump himself was asked by Fox News commentator Jesse Waters. Trump was asked by Jesse Waters, did Obama do anything good for America? And Trump said no. So Trump also did that. I don't, look, 4 years in office, you got to do something. There are Americans, as I pointed out, Trump pardoned people. I'm sure he gave folks jobs. There are people who, look, nothing good at all. That just seems strong. Looking in the comments, socialists can find another country for handouts, says Shiny Corn. Socialists can find another country for handouts. I don't know where to go with that. She's already vice president and nothing is better than. Well, Martian man, what did Mike Pence do for the country? What did Dick Cheney do? I don't know why folks keep suggesting that Kamala Harris's VP didn't do anything for America. It's not their job. You got folks who believe that Trump gave us one of the best presidencies in history, and they're not giving Mike Pence credit for shit. The vice president, it's not their job to do anything. So, of course, Kamala Harris doesn't have a whole resume of things she did good while as vice president. Neither does Pence. Going to the box, tap the screen. Let's see if we can get up to about 75. That might be a bit challenging. This audience is slow on the participation. But tap the screen, get the likes up. 75 I'd like to see. a good place to start. Going to, and by the way, on YouTube, feel free to smash that like button as well. You can do about 150 if you will. Tap that like button, get the likes up, helps out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA. I'm going to go with, as the name says, up next. Good afternoon, up next. Okay. All right. We'll let the name dictate the entry point, but up next, I've got to get back to work. Hope y'all have a fantastic day. Ruska, appreciate you tuning in for the time you could. I've been following you on YouTube for a while. Trump 2024 says Tara, good afternoon to you. Shout out to you, because we don't get a lot of, I always give credit to the female Republicans, because everybody said the liberals are going to get all of the women vote. There's a lot of female MAGA out there. So shout out to you, Tara, depending on how the name is pronounced. While the box is playing games and resetting, I'll read some of the comments. Be the Goat says, good afternoon, Mr. Tim. Shout out to you. Hope you folks are tapping the screen, 75,000 if possible. Same on YouTube, smash that like button. MAGA, what is Trump's policy to bring down inflation? I'd be curious to let some MAGA answer that question. What is Trump's policy to bring down inflation? Because he's certainly promising that he's going to do that. He is certainly promising to do that. So what is the policy? I'd be curious to know. Fighting patriots. I don't know. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I just hit something wrong there. DJ Julio. Apologize for the pause. Some TikTok is just problematic today. Wow. His answer was drill, baby, drill. We're already doing that. DJ Julio, good afternoon.
How you doing?
Hey, doing good. Good to have you back on. Good to see you on. So, how do you feel about the direction of this country right now?
I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable about it. I don't think that listen, I ain't got a problem with any of you Democrats or any of you liberals out there, but if we get Kamala in the office, I might just move to Canada.
Why?
I don't think it's gonna. It's not good now. It's only going to get worse if she stays in the office, because she's going to run up the same policies that Biden's been doing, and obviously his policies are doing something shady in the cookbooks.
How are you certain that if Kamala Harris gets elected, becomes a commander-in-chief, she's going to do the same thing as Biden? How do you know that?
Because she's a pancake, Tim.
What the hell is that?
It's a flip-flopper. She says one thing one day, one thing the next day, and it's completely contradictory to what she said the day before. And then she goes back and says it again. She's jumping on all of Trump's freaking ideas for policy and things that he wants to do for 2024. And then the second she gets in the office, she's going to forget she said that. Said, no, I never said that.
You realize you're not going to
seem consistent.
You're not going to escape inconsistency or flip-flopping by voting for Trump. Trump is still out there saying he never said lock Hillary Clinton up, and there are dozens of videos of him saying it. Trump does the same thing.
I get what you're saying, but that's not. You asked about the state of my country, and we're talking about Kamala if she wins.
Yeah, but you're making it sound like one of your biggest worries is because she's a flip-flopper, and I'm pointing out the guy you're likely voting for is a flip-flopper too.
Right, but he stands on his word. What he says he's going to do, he does. You know that. You've said it yourself.
If you're a flip-flopper, you don't always stand on your word. He talked about fighting the NRA. He's talked about taking away guns. He don't always stand on his word. He does change.
But your ideas change too. As you get in it, like I've said with you 100 times, I'm sure 100 times. You've changed my view on a couple of different things. It doesn't change my vote, but changes my view a little bit.
Okay.
And I might back your view up from that point forward, because now I have a clear understanding of both sides of it. I just don't think we know enough about Kamala. I don't think that she's definitely. I wouldn't go as far as DEI. I would go as far as puppet. She is the next puppet for the Obama administration to play with.
So you believe Obama has still been controlling Biden for the last 4 years?
Hand up his ass like a puppet.
And that is based on what?
Everything that Obama said before
he was out of office, about having a third term, the things that Biden would say or do that can look like, well, if he was darker color, had a better voice and a little more swagger, it could be Obama talking.
So what has been so bad about the Biden administration? What makes you so scared that if Kamala Harris gets elected, what parts of the country do you think are going to fail?
Middle class are still failing because of it. We did good, and before Trump left office, while Trump was in office, I was an employee. Before he left, I became my employer. I became my own business. While I was an employee under Trump's tax policies, under Trump's administration, and I know some of that was a carryover from Obama, so Obama maybe has a high five to get from that. But it was much better. Now, I mean, I drive a diesel when I'm pulling equipment. I drive a work van when I'm doing service work, and my expenses alone on gas, and the miles aren't much different. I think I actually did less miles in 2023 than I did in 2022 and 2021, and my receipts don't add up. I'm going, half as far for twice as much.
So you're mentioning
and the food prices, the cost to go when I do the rally. Like I said, every year, I'm a DJ, so when the rally comes to Sturgis, I DJ at the Buffalo Chip. I go there, I buy food for the whole damn week. We have a list that this is what we buy. We bought the same stuff for the last 3 years. This year's was twice as much.
Yeah, but let me ask you this, because while you were talking, I kind of jotted down a few notes. You're talking about a lot of the economic benefits you personally incurred during the Trump administration. However,
correct.
How do you respond to folks who may put the economy to the side and be more concerned with the likes of Project 2025, the abortion bans, giving cops immunity, and the largest deportation in history? How do you respond to folks who might say they want $2 gas, they want the economy you're talking about, but this other stuff is frightening?
I would say that they're probably not middle class, and they don't have a real concept of how that actually works.
How do you have?
Not against abortion.
Okay, because you said they don't have a real concept of how it works. So I'm gonna ask you, what is the real concept of how an abortion ban works? What is your take on it?
Well, an abortion ban that has everything banned except for the situations, like Donald Trump has said a million times. It puts responsibility back in people's laps.
No, it's not. What are you talking about?
Yeah, 100% it does, Tim. Even my daughters finally are like, what in the hell are these Democrats doing? My Democrat daughters are saying this about their own party, the ones that can vote right now. My youngest has been a Republican since she understood what Republicans.
So your Democrat daughters are in favor of the abortion bans?
They understand it clearly. They understand that, if I don't want to get pregnant, I should probably be on birth control and demand that if a man's going to enter me, that he enter me with protection. That is what responsibility looks like. And as American whole, I am disgusted at how irresponsible and disrespectful we are to one another. It's fucking sickening, Tim.
So just to make sure I get it clarity, they are indeed in favor of the abortion ban.
Yes.
And they're Democrats.
100%. Not in well, they're going to change they're saying they're going to change their vote. They're voting for Trump. They're voting all red this year. And the reason that they're for it is that they're not saying, okay, now the government has control over my body, and that's not the case at all. And for those that think that, they're small-minded. You're not looking at the big picture. Tim, if I tell you not to do something, do not do this because this is not what it's meant for. Unless you have this certain circumstance, then we can use this protocol called smortion, however you want to say it on here. What it does is it puts responsibility on you, Tim. It puts responsibility on me, Tim. It puts responsibility on every woman in America to have protected sex.
And what happens if the protection don't work? Then what happens?
That's a stipulation. Those are part of the things that I did try. I was on birth control. I did these things. I do not want a kid. They're not going to make you have a kid. And it's ridiculous that people are pushing that narrative that they're going to make you have a kid if you have of birth control that fails.
So what you're wait, let me make sure I'm hearing this clear. So you're saying if a woman uses birth control, or if a condom breaks, or if one of these prophylactic methods do not work and it fails, they will allow them to terminate the pregnancy?
100%. Because you are trying not to have a kid. They can see you. They have a track record. It's on paper. You have receipts that you are trying not to be a parent.
Where have you heard
one of
this?
Those things, read the damn bill. It's in the bills. It's in Trump's bill where he has circumstances listed.
It's in Trump.
It's out there. This is out for everybody to read. And the fact that nobody is reading, I don't like to read, but me and my daughters got on this big old kick right before rally. I take 7 days before rally even starts, and I take my kids and my family. We all have fun time. I don't work. We don't do shit. But at nighttime we would be in the camper and we would go over this shit. We would look at this shit and search and Google and freaking get on Reddit.
So why are so many
and get it figured out?
Why are so many women complaining? Like Big Rooster talks about the Kate Cox, the 31-year-old woman in Texas that was having a baby that had a 95% chance that wasn't going to make it, and her own life was in danger. The state of Texas not only was not allowing her to terminate the pregnancy, they were trying to prevent her from leaving the state to get it terminated elsewhere. What are you talking about?
Now that's where you have to be stronger in your state vote. That's where you got to do your homework in your state vote, because state by state, it's going to be a little hairy. What I was talking about now is I'm talking about what Donald Trump wants for what is it called? Right to choose, my body, my choice. You know. But
let me hold on.
To do about it.
But without Trump,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but Julio, without Trump, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Women would not be in this predicament at all.
No, and they'd still be freaking being reckless and making poor choices. And there's an old saying that Generation X has. If you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. And I've said this a million times on your show. If you are not going to be responsible, you get what you get. You make a bed, you lay in it. And if you can't lay in it, that's your fucking problem, and that's the end of that.
Wow. So what are we doing?
That's just real, because Tim, you're responsible for everything that you do in your life. If you fuck up anywhere in your life, you got to pay that consequence. As a man, we don't have to worry about abortion. So, thankfully, I'm a man. I don't have to worry about that, and I'm not going to be the guy to tell my daughter, you go have an abortion. I'm not gonna force that upon my child. That's their choice to do it. They know how I feel about it.
So and it should surprise no one that friend of the program, Gen X, is enjoying what you're saying. He says, God, it is refreshing to hear someone in the box with sense. So you're definitely getting the applause from Gen X. But you talked about women being reckless and irresponsible. What are you doing? Hold on. What are you doing? Passing laws to try to force women to not be reckless and irresponsible? You're trying to legislate morality?
Let me go ahead and let you know how ridiculous, I love you to death, you know that, how ridiculous it sounded to hear you say that. They make gun laws because there was a time where people were reckless with guns, right? They make chemical laws, EPA rules, because there were people that were reckless with biohazardous chemicals. They make all of these rules for things that we as humans created, but yet we as the humans don't have to follow those same fucking rules. It's stupid, Tim. If you're not going to be responsible in life, you don't deserve this life.
Damn, what do you got? Now, Megan in the comments.
Today I feel like him. I tell you what, I've been arrested. I've had 2 weeks off of work. Man, I am ready and I'm full of fire today. I'm just pissed off because this is stupid. Listening to Kamala Harris with her freaking 35 people at her freaking her last little thing where she kind of got upset with her vice president. I pay so little attention to them. I don't know who they're called. But
I would hate to be a female in your legislative wake. Megan in the comments says guns have more rights than I do. How do you respond to women who believe that the stuff you're talking about is draconian and puts them in a horrible position? What do you tell women?
I tell them this. If you're being respectful and responsible, you have nothing to worry about. These laws don't apply to you.
Wow. And I see
do you not get that? Do you understand where I come from with that?
I don't get any of it. No, I do. No, I do not. I don't get any of it. I think it's harsh and draconian.
Just a second ago, just like I said to you a second ago, if you are being respectful and responsible in your life, Tim, what do you have to worry about?
I won't get pregnant.
Nothing.
You
don't have anything to worry about. You don't got to worry about getting shot by a cop. You don't got to worry about getting shot by your neighbor. You don't got to worry about none of this shit because you're being respectful and you're being responsible. You're being a conservative American, Tim.
You landed on thick. Miss Successful MD says language, he has no class, very emotional, suggesting that your comments are classless and you're for these bans out of emotion.
I'm a 45-year-old man that is speaking out of emotion. Oh my God. Hang me up on a cross. Put me upside down because I don't stand in the same right of God. But hang me upside
What are you? Who are you, Mike Pence now?
I'm Ryan fucking Haran. I'm DJ fucking Julio. That's who I am. God damn it. I live a very good life, a very charmed life. My kids live a very charmed life, and we are very middle class.
And your daughters are okay with this ban?
My daughters understand it. They don't like it, but they understand it. But you know what they don't have to worry about because they have a father like me? Is they don't have to worry about being irresponsible or disrespectful. So they don't have to worry about disrespecting their body and being pregnant before they're ready to. They don't have to worry about getting pulled over and getting harassed by the cops because they're treating the cop with respect. They don't have to worry about going to school and getting shot because they hang around the right kind of people.
Wow.
I got good goddamn kids.
Good goddamn kids. So let me ask it to you this way.
And I do have class. I just like dirty language. Sorry, okay. Mr. MD.
Look, we run an uncensored program. Don't worry about that. But what I want to ask you is this. If a 15-year-old is reckless and irresponsible, as you put it, and gets pregnant, you believe the solution is to now make that 15-year-old that's been reckless and irresponsible a parent? So now the reckless, irresponsible person has a child to take care of at 15? You think that's a good outcome?
If my daughter is being reckless and irresponsible with a pistol and shoots her friend, she deserves every ounce of jail that's coming to her. Absolutely.
Damn. What is this? Cobra Kai, sweep the leg, no mercy? Damn, man.
This is be a human and be respectful. If we want to get biblical, it talks about honoring thy neighbor. That's respect and responsibility. They talk about don't cheat on your wife. That's respect and responsibility. And I know my president has made a bad choice a few times and has gone against those 10 commandments. We all have as humans. But the only way back from it is to understand it, to be accountable for it, and then in turn become more respectful and become more responsible. Because then as a nation, we do things. We understand our women are taken care of. Our women ain't getting hurt. Our women are doing things in the doctor's office that they shouldn't be doing because they've already done everything they need to not have that happen.
Let me ask you this before I move it on. I see in the comments, Big Rooster says dads can't be there for their little kids all the time, and that's true. What if your daughter was impregnated forcibly? You want her to have that child?
No, because that's part of the stipulations. If it's forceful, that's rape.
You do understand some states are not going to let her out of that, right?
Right, but you understand once Donald Trump gets in there and if he signs his bill the way that he wants to sign this bill and in this policy, we're not going to have to worry about any of that shit.
But I thought he was for states' rights. Now you're talking federal intervention.
Well, he's looking and he's learning from the things that, and you talked about, I'll get to that. I'm going to end on what you just asked right there. You were talking about how he was pulling, Joe Biden press conferences, and he was starting to look more and more like Joe Biden. Man, Tim, I went back through YouTube and I watched from July all the way to his current in August. That dude is on point. He is sharp.
What do you mean?
He rambles, but he is sharp.
You're talking about Trump. All of the times he confused. When he was running against Nikki Haley.
He corrects himself. He corrects himself on everything.
No, he don't.
Yes, he does. Go back and watch all of his shit. Go to Trump. on YouTube and watch every one of his thing and all the stuff that the Democrats or whoever the media cuts out to put on freaking social media to make him look stupid, he corrects himself every time.
So you're saying every time he confused Nikki Haley with Nancy Pelosi, he corrected himself?
Every time.
He corrected. So when he said,
it was in the end of July, somebody brought that up. Who the hell was he talking to? And he said, it's hard. It was hard because I kept getting them confused because they're so much alike.
Then he didn't correct himself. Somebody brought it to him. That means he didn't correct himself.
Not every time. Okay, you got me on one. I'm sorry. You got me on one, Tim. I'll give you a W for that one.
You do realize he also talked about defending airports during the Civil War. He never corrected himself on that. Airplanes did not exist during the Civil War.
He sure did. He sure did. He confused his wars. He said, I confused my war.
Oh my God. So you get a guy out no matter what. I got to move it on.
I'm not giving him the out. I'm not giving him the out. And all these people that haven't read it is because they only listen to one-sided shit. I listen to both sides. Tim, I listen to you. I listen to freaking Moo. I listen to freaking Parker. I listen to all of them. I don't like all of them, but I listen to all of them because I want to hear what you guys are saying so I can check and go back. And like I said, I had all this free time before rally. I spent a lot of time watching videos.
All right.
Setting up sound, listening to videos.
All right, you drive a hard bargain. As always, Julio, it is always a pleasure, always an honor to have you on the program. We don't agree on this. Nobody gives a damn, but come back.
But yeah, and just do me this solid. When you start to think about these issues that we have, start asking you, is it respectful? Is it responsible? Start living them two words. If you start living, and some of these people in this chat start living that way, is my choice respectful? Is it responsible? We won't have fucking problems. And all these fucking guys calling me Fulio, I enjoy this. Actually, I enjoy being called DJ Fulio.
So you really believe calling the likes of Nikki Haley? You said, is it respectful? Is it responsible? You think all of that name calling is respectful?
I never once said that I thought Donald Trump was always respectful.
So
I never said that.
So you're voting for a guy that ain't even meeting the qualifications you're talking about?
Well, because my qualifications are out of the reach for so many people, it's going to be hard for anybody to get that perfect.
Okay. All right. So he doesn't have to be respectful and responsible, but you're holding everybody else to account.
He definitely does. He definitely does. And I tell you what, I've reached out to the Republican National Conference. I've reached out to his campaign several different times and wrote them, man, keep the disrespect out of his mouth. I understand where he's coming from, but keep the disrespect out of his mouth. If in September it goes the way that I think it's going to go, he's going to start talking very nice about some people that you wouldn't think he's going to talk nice about, and he's going to say, I may not agree with them, but this is what they have done.
All right, Julio, I don't agree with you, but also I think by then it'd be way too late. You've been on the political scene about 9 years. You wait 1 month or so before the election, and you come around. It's kind of too late at that point. I got to move it on, though.
Getting shot at will change your perspective, and I'll let you move it on. And I just wish you have the best rest of your day you can.
All right, keep it respectful, keep it responsible. No, thank you.
Amen.
All right, yep. All right. Wow, no mercy. No mercy. Sweep the leg if you women are not responsible. There is no mercy at all. I don't care if you're 14 years of age. If you are irresponsible in the bedroom, no mercy. That's harsh. That's harsh in my opinion. But I've seen a lot of folks in the comments that, were saying life has consequences. A lot of folks were agreeing with him. His daughters are likely, oh my God, what does that say? I can't pronounce the name. Someone says his daughters likely hate him. I don't buy that. I don't think his daughters hate him, I don't think his daughters are Democrat, but I don't think his daughters hate him. I think if they agree with those abortion bans from that strict, that draconian of a level, then they're likely conservatives. I don't believe they would be Democrats, but I don't know if I would say his daughters hate him. His tone would change so fast if she was forcibly impregnated, says Inked Ape. I think that applies to a lot of pro-lifers. That if they had a loved one that was forcibly impregnated, yeah, that strong stance on protecting life, I believe that would change to some degree. I think very few folks would try to force themselves or a loved one to carry a baby that was forcibly put into them. I think a lot of people's stance would change on that. And that's just the way it is. Like even the left, the way the left feels about immigration and the border, yeah, if an immigrant harmed you or your family, it might change a little bit. Things change when you're dealing with it on a personal level. I do believe that applies on all sides of the aisle. Just like, for instance, a lot of us believe that small business owners should pay better wages, better salaries. If you own the business, your stance might change a little bit. I don't disagree. Having to deal with something personally can change the way you view it when you're making judgments from the outside. So I do agree with it. By the way, tap the screen. Get the likes up to about 90,000. We can certainly make that happen. We're getting close. I always like to get around 100,000. We're certainly close to that. So feel free to smash that like button on YouTube as well. Probably get us up to about 200. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone on the program. It's all about free speech here. We go left of Bernie Sanders to him having dinner with QAnon. You don't have to agree with anybody in the comment section. You don't have to agree with the host. It's all about free speech. If you enjoy that type of dialogue, we're here Monday through Friday. Same time, same bat channel. Feel free to follow the program on TikTok, a subscription on YouTube, if you will. He comes on for the attention, says Successful MD. I love that name. Wow, Successful MD. Well, Julio is not coming on for the attention. I don't know if you're newer to the program. Julio goes back a ways. He believes what he's saying. He believes what he said. We get the same thing in regards to Gen X. You know, Gen X is a friend of the program. He always comes on and talks about things like women shouldn't be able to vote and all of that, and women should make men sandwiches. He's not doing it for attention. Some folks have their beliefs. Just like some folks believe the border should be open and anybody that wants to come to America should be allowed to come here. They're not doing it for attention. They actually believe that. Some folks have these opinions that others might view as somewhat extreme. But I believe Gen X believes what he's saying. I don't think he's doing it for attention. Freedom for me and not for thee. Yikes. Up next, you got a question? We'll try to have answers. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. I don't know what am I doing here. Let me try it one more time. Yo, Adrian. Is that the name? Yo, Adrian. Texas, one of the subscribers to the program. Good afternoon. Yo, Adrian. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, friend.
Hey, good to have you on. So,
likewise, first time.
Appreciate it. Well, it's good to have you here. Certainly, that name invokes all of the Rocky movies. But how do you feel about the direction of America based on what you're seeing on the national scene?
Well, I just think that so much divisiveness from both sides at times, and I just think that we should kind of work together. And it kind of goes to the economy, to like saying that it was so much better under Trump and the jobs and stuff like that. I just feel that, you know, he had a lot of his policies when it was in crunch time, which unfortunately was under COVID, didn't work out, and it hurt the whole country. Like, for example, the tariffs that he imposed on all the China products. He wanted to go to war with China, and he imposed all these tariffs that started with China, which we're the biggest consumers of Chinese products.
Right.
So what is that going to do to our everyday life products? Go up. And right before he changed, he was going to give the power to Biden. He increased it on the tariffs from Mexico and every other import from any other country per se. So it started with China, and then it went to Mexico, and then it went to everybody else.
Yeah, but some folks do believe that those countries you're mentioning, particularly China and to a lesser degree Mexico, were abusing their trade privileges with the United States, that we were getting an unfair end of the stick. You don't see that? Are you there? Okay, I'm gonna have to move it on. I don't know if he has some signal issues or whatever the case may be. We'll keep moving the program. Sometimes that does happen. I seen down that he had only one signal. Looking in the comments, by the way, they were not paying their dues. Well, and that's the thing, the trade imbalance between China and the United States. A lot of folks believe that the Americans are getting the short end of the stick. So, in fact, yours truly, when Trump talked about imposing tariffs on tractors coming here from John Deere, I was a fan of it. I mean, at the end of the day, I would like to bring jobs back to America, not just impose tariffs. But, and I don't know if you're going to get that under Trump. We've kind of caved in this country too much to greedy businessmen, because at the end of the day, most of the country is not benefiting by sending our jobs overseas. Yeah, you could buy a shirt for $2 where you may have to pay 10 if an American makes it, but by you paying 10, you're keeping Americans employed. And after a while, if you send every damn thing over there, you might lose your job too. And that's just from an economic standpoint. The other issue is the countries that we have chosen to send our jobs to are not friends of the United States. For instance, China is on the opposing side of America on virtually all world issues. They're always on the other side. And they've used all of the money, the strengthening of their economy that has come from all of the jobs being sent over there to build up their war machine and threaten the might of the United States. All of their strengthening of their military, that came from us. We literally paid for that country to be as strong as they are military-wise. Now, they've always had the population. They've always had a huge population compared to America. But they didn't have the equipment. They're now starting to be competitive on the equipment level. We're still a much bigger military in terms of technology, but the gap has shrunk significantly because they have a lot more money, because their country is working off of all of our former employees' labor. They're getting all the jobs and shit like that. That should have never been allowed. But it was done to enrich a few greedy businessmen here that didn't want to pay U.S. salaries, and they tapped into all of that extremely cheap labor over there at the detriment to the United States. Same to a lesser degree with Mexico as well. Mexico, with all of the labor issues, Mexico's a little different because I do believe we've kind of screwed up their country to some degree as well. But I'm just not a fan of getting rid of American jobs, allowing those corporations to go elsewhere simply because a few people in that corporation benefits when all of the American workers are losing their gigs and the country itself as a whole is losing out. I've said this before. If Ford, Chevy, Buick, or some automaker in the United States could make a car for cheaper than the cars they're driving in China, I don't believe the Chinese will let us do it. They're not going to let America flood the streets of China with cheap Chevys, Buicks, or some American-made car. They would view that as a matter of an issue with financial security. They wouldn't let it. We let that happen, where Americans are walking around with all of these Chinese products and all. They wouldn't let that happen. They would realize this is not in the best interest of our country to outsource all of the manufacturing and all of this shit. They would realize that. We're greedy. We didn't. That's one of the downfalls. I don't like socialism. I don't like communism. I don't like all these other isms. That's a downfall of capitalism. Is you're so focused on the bottom line, you'll sell out your own damn country to make money. We don't talk about that in terms of criticizing all of these other isms. But that's one of the downfalls of capitalism, is you're so focused on making money, you'll sell out every damn thing you know just to make some extra money. That's capitalism. So going back to the box, and I think in the comments, all presidents have a capital gain while in office. I don't quite get it. Trump made in China product. Yeah, even the MAGA hat I have, I believe, has a made in China label on it. Trig, good afternoon. It is capitalism, Dan Cross. It is. Capitalism is about capitalizing on whatever opportunity comes along. And if one of the opportunities is to lobby to the right politician so that that politician allows you to fire your workers and hire workers in Vietnam or China somewhere, that is capitalism. That's part of it. And when you hear folks say we're going to have less regulation, regulation would stop that. But if you let the free market decide, the free market is going to go where the cheap labor is globally. Big Trig, good afternoon.
Hey, what's going on, my brother? How are you today?
I'm doing good. I was trying to find that out from you. How do you feel about the political scene right now? Did you see the DNC last night?
I did. I kind of thought it went a little late into the evening for me because I tried to stay up as much as I possibly could because I wanted to see Joe Biden come out there.
I missed that. I seen everybody else. I heard he spoke for like 90 minutes or something.
He did with his chest, full chest, and I have to give it to him. I'm not trying to say he was trying to make up for the debate, but he did a darn good job of trying to speak 90 minutes, full throat, coherently, and let everybody know that he wasn't sleeping.
Yeah. Well, but let me ask you this. As somebody, now you lean left, am I correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and before I ask you that, I do want to respond to Ed G, who stated, can't take you serious if you don't believe a baby in the womb is human, but you believe a male can be a female. We'll talk about that in a minute. But in regards to Biden, and as you said, he spoke with his full chest last night. Do you, if you could go back in time, would you have preferred for Biden to sound as coherent and alert as he did last night, meaning he would still be our candidate? Or are you glad he flubbed what he did on June 27th and when he got Kamala? Which would you prefer?
Well, because the reality is the norm right now, it happened. So I couldn't go back and change it. But what I have appreciated him
if you could go back and change it,
I would rather for him to speak with his full chest back then during that debate. Right. And if that made him the nominee for the Democratic Party, then so be it. Because I hate the fact that so many said that he looked frail and out of it and couldn't function and probably was taking a squeeze in his diaper or something of those nature that you hear people say about him. I would have much rather see the man. He had a full life of service in this whole thing, and I would have loved to see him go toe to toe with Donald Trump because I mean that's what it was. It was like one of the old Pacquiao, Sugar Ray Leonard. You see what I'm saying? I wanted to see him go full toe to toe and see it happen, but it didn't. And we understand now we're in a different place, right? Yeah. So far. We're in a good place. If you look at it over the last 5 weeks, right? We united a party right now that was really on the verge of self-destruction, if you ask me, right?
Yeah, but if Biden had, if because I gave you this fictional scenario where you could go back in time. If you could go back in time and you had Biden speak with his full chest, as you put it, the Democratic Party would still be divided.
Yeah.
They would still be divided.
It would have been divided, but I think more would have jumped on board. Now, I don't think the call for him to leave would have been strong. I think people would have rallied behind him and said, "See, our guy can hold a conversation. Our guy can do it."
Is that the bar? Our guy can hold a conversation.
Hey, now Tim, I say that. Like that, it sounds pretty bad.
Yeah, very.
I mean, the bar was pretty low. You know, got set pretty low at one time. Now, if he did something crazy like came out there and just every response Donald Trump had, and he punched Donald in the mouth with it, right, and gave a response that was, look. Boom, and stayed on course. Here are the policies. Here's what you did wrong. Here's what we're doing right. And here's where we're moving forward to. Then there wouldn't have been a Democrat in the world who could have taken him from that position or asked him to leave that position.
I don't disagree with that, but I think Kamala, and I'm going to say the quiet part out loud that a lot of Democrats don't like for me to say, but I do believe she's benefiting from being a woman and being a person of color that Biden would have never got. Not to mention she is younger and things like that, but I do believe, because Trump has been gaining on the black vote. The women's vote is probably trash for Trump, but he was starting to have inroads with the person of color vote. I think Kamala is going to kind of neutralize that to some degree, where Biden would not likely have been able to do that. So I think Kamala is a better candidate no matter how you look at it.
Now, I agree with you, Tim, but I'm going to push back for a second.
Sure.
Right? And what I'm going to push back and say is, yes, Kamala is riding the wave. Yes, she's a woman. Yes, she's a black woman. Yes, she is someone that a lot of people in this day and time are ready for change. They're ready to see something different. They want to make sure that as we move into the future, there is someone who's going to be able to lead us there because they're young enough to lead us there, into the future, right? So I do agree. But now here's where I push back, right?
Okay.
I look at the situation. I look at Donald Trump. I look at the things that he says and does right now. He says, don't trust the polls, right?
Yeah.
So Tim, when you say the polls are saying this about the Kamala Harris situation, don't trust the polls, Tim. Black men, there may be the onesies and twosies, but from where I associate around a lot of black men, right? That has not been the normal conversation in my neck of the woods, right?
Okay.
And I don't think that is clearly articulated across the landscape of America right now. I do not think those polls are accurately right. Me and you had a conversation yesterday about polls, and I told you I look at the polls to shoot a little get a gauge it a little bit, but I'm not going to trust those polls. We have to push through and run through the tape. We got to finish the job, and it got to be finished strong. Those polls in 2016 were so far off the mark when Hillary Clinton was running, right?
Yeah. They were also far off the mark in 2022 with the alleged red wave too.
Exactly, the red wave as well. So I take those polls as a litmus test and just, hey, there they are right there. They give me a little balancing bar, but I'm not going to take them as face value. So black men, yes, you have some, but as in the numbers that they're saying, I don't think that is the case. And some people are actually right now finding their way back to where they feel comfortable, because how can you really truly trust a guy that every day when he comes out, he can't stay on point. He can't stay on target. He comes out and he goes all over the mark. And then 90% of what he does tell you, you fact check it, and it's a lie. Right?
You think? Wait. You think Trump? You're suggesting that 90% of the things Trump says is a lie?
Yes.
Damn.
I was just fact checking because I got to fact check everything on this thing, Tim. I was fact checking two pictures. A picture of Kamala Harris and a picture of Donald Trump. And I said, damn, he is not better looking than her. So I had to fact check. That's a lie.
Okay.
You feel me?
I give you that. Hey, he's not better looking than a woman that's almost 20 years younger than him. No, I'm not going to disagree with that.
Here's what I say, and I joke about it, but the bottom line is this. You look at it and you hear what he's saying. When he does make a policy moment, if you go back and research it or say what he's done and you research it, it's either overinflated to the extreme, right? Or it's a downright lie.
Damn.
Right? And so here's the thing. Do you want that person to saying, I promise you that you're going to get a bag of gold and silver if you walk down this path, right? All you got to do is get to the end of the path. Here's a bag of gold and silver, right? and you get to the path, end of the path, and he give you a bag of rocks. That's the type of energy that I receive from him right now. So, and then one last thing, my brother, and I'll let you get on and move on with the show.
All right, it's all yours. Go ahead.
DJ Julio, and I'm just gonna say it like this: DJ Julio, he makes a lot of valid points, and I'm not gonna take nothing away from him. But you know what I think? Sometimes when what you see is not reality, I don't think his behind the scenes is what he projecting on that mic when he's talking.
So you don't believe DJ Julio believes that a woman should be held responsible for her sexual exploits?
DJ Julio believe it. I think that all the things that he add to it from his lifestyle and his family, I think are things that he's making up to just justify his narrative.
Wow.
That's my opinion.
I don't know if I agree with that, but that's a strong opinion. I don't know. I think the guy's authentic. Wow.
Look, here's what I think. Sometimes people get on there and they want to be made sure that hey, I'm saying this with my full chest because I can't say it at home.
All right. Well said.
On that note, Tim, you have a great one, man. Appreciate you allowing me to be on the show. I always love listening to you, my brother, and hope to talk soon.
Big Trig, it's been an honor. Doors are always open to you. Thank you. Moving on with the program. By the way, I was noticing something. This is completely off topic. I'll go back to the subject. But, we run on two platforms at the same time, TikTok and YouTube. And by the way, tap the screen. We're really close to that 100,000. Maybe we can get 110 if you folks on TikTok. Tap the screen, get the likes up, let your thumbs not be lazy. Smash that like button on YouTube as well. 220? Is that possible? 220? The three dots at the top of your screen. Smash that like button on YouTube as well. Get the likes up. So basically, he wants Joe to be something that he isn't. Strong, says Vance Carter. What is Biden? 82? He doesn't come across as strong. I'm not going to pretend like he does. He does not come across as strong. But the DJ Julio said, I think the man's authentic. I saw a lot of other folks in the comments agreeing with my last caller, suggesting that Julio and his strong stance against pregnancy termination. I don't want to trigger the TikTok censors, but against pregnancy termination. I think a lot of folks agree with what DJ Julio was saying, and then there's a lot who disagree. I'm on the side that I'm not a man. I don't know a woman's struggle. Okay, she was sexually irresponsible, so then I make her, deal with it for the next 18 years. It's not my place to say that. Certainly if I'm not going to help her out at all. Maybe if I was going to start going over there and getting her a little bit of diapers and wipes, maybe a little assistance with daycare so that she can get a job and take care of, maybe then we could talk. But if you're not doing nothing for her, I don't get it. To me, it's just not my place to get involved in that. I understand that she may have been irresponsible, but I don't believe that it's my place as a man to step in her life and do that to her. It's a human being, a person, not something to deal with. Well, you do have to, you ever heard of take care of your responsibility? You do have to deal with it. Now, that's Mountain Loving Mama with that hardcore pro-life stance. Shout out to once again, as I keep telling you, it's a lot of women out there that lean right. A lot of women, a lot of female MAGA out there. That is Mountain Loving Mama, safe to assume that is a woman, says it's a human being, a person, not something to deal with, basically mocking my words. And I do believe it's something to deal with, but I understand what she's saying. But I disagree that at conception it's a human being. And you know why? I give you my point on that. And this is also following up with Ed G, who says, can't take you serious if you don't believe a baby's in the womb is a human, but you believe a male can become a female. Well, we'll talk about the trans, and I see how long have people been trans successful, MD. It also says Trump brands are produced overseas. His brands are produced overseas, but in regards to the whole it's a baby in the womb thing. Let's say, for instance, we do get these pro-life laws under the guise that, look, once you get pregnant, it is a baby and you can't take the life of a baby. Okay, so let's say you have a mom that is pregnant but doesn't want anything to do with being a mother. So she says, okay, I'm 3 months pregnant. Since it's a baby and I can't terminate it, I want you to take it out of me right now. You said it's a baby. You said it's a human. I'm done. Since it's a baby, it should be, you don't need me. Humans don't need me. If it's a human, it does. Look, a human doesn't need another human to survive. Take it out. I'm not going to terminate it. You can sedate me and take it out. What would they have to say? It's not ready yet because it's not a full viable human at that point. So I disagree from that standpoint that the moment she gets pregnant at conception, it's a human. No, it's not. You need her. Humans don't need other humans to survive. You can put a human on an island by themselves, and as long as there is food and water there, the human can survive. The human doesn't need to feast off another human to survive. It's not a human. That shows you that. She's not terminating the pregnancy. She's saying, you can sedate me right now. I'm 3 months along. Take it out. It's a human, right? You can't. So that, to me, that shows you right there that whole human thing, it's a human in the making. That's just like going to a pile of tires at a Ford auto plant and saying it's a car. It's not a car yet. It's just tires at this point. You gotta put everything else together. It's not a car. It's not a human at that point. And I'll tell you this, there's some people that you could put that in their hands and they may not even recognize that it's on its way to being a human. At conception, you wouldn't even recognize it. It's not a human. It's on its way to being a human, but it's not one at that point. Looking in the comments, and I see a few, what was that, Mark says amen. Finally, somebody agrees with the host, but no, it's not a human. If it is, take it out. Simple as that. She's not terminating it. She's willing to adhere to your pro-life policies. She just wants to be done. You shouldn't need to force her to carry it for 6 months. If it's a human, she's 3 months along, put her out and take it out. Period. That way you get what you want, she gets what she wants. You can't do that though, can you? Because it's not a human. Looking in the comments, appreciate you folks that are tapping the screen. Get the likes up to about 110,000. Freedom, whoever that is, Freedom Tygo. Appreciate the graphics at this point. I don't like to block, ban, or censor anyone, but if you keep typing it, I'm gonna have to go ahead and block your account. I mean, you're typing the same thing over and over again. So hold back on the spamming, folks. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, I don't block, ban, or censor any criticism. Feel free to let me know where you disagree. I'll bring you up. You can tell me directly. But typing things, spamming, for instance, you're preventing other folks from getting their opinion across. And in some cases, while offering nothing, that person was just sending graphics. I really hate blocking folks. I really hate doing that. But when you got something like that, you're forced to do it. We don't have a moderator on this program, by the way. We make it happen simply by having civilized dialogue from all sides of the aisle. And as I always say, if you enjoy civilized dialogue without all the blocking, banning, and censoring, follow the program on TikTok and subscription on YouTube. But occasionally you get folks like that just simply type graphics over and over again, and there's nothing you can do with that. One of the team members, I think we tried up next again. Let's try it again. Yeah! Alter Ego. Thank you for the hat and mustache and support for the program. Always appreciate that. Alter Ego, thank you. Up next. Good afternoon.
What's going on with you, man? How you been?
I'm doing good. Good to have you. And I saw you in the comments. The floor is yours.
Oh, yeah. I just got a question, though. Like,
Sure.
I was listening to what you were saying when you said human in the womb, a baby in the womb is not a human.
Not at 1, 2, or 3 months is not. No.
Well, I just got a question, though. I just got a question.
Sure.
It cannot defend itself, right?
It cannot what?
Defend itself, right?
I don't even know if a 2-year-old can defend itself. What are you trying to get at?
So I'm trying to get it. So let's say there was a person in your family who was sick and they needed help from humans. They needed help from other people. And they was on an island. They would die.
Yeah, but you said, I never said nothing about being able to defend yourself. I'm saying you can't even function. Like,
if they're sick, they can't function. There's a lot of people laying in hospitals right now that can't function.
So what are they on, life support?
Nah, some of them just can't move because probably they're paralyzed.
Yeah, but they still can communicate. I mean, first of all, if you're in a hospital in the situation you're talking about, you likely have years of being able to function before you got to that level. That's a whole different stance than something that is 2 weeks or 3 or 4 weeks along.
We're all human. We all can talk and we can communicate.
Okay.
But life do start at conception. Life do start at conception. I want you to think about it. That baby won't be anything else other than a human when it's born. It won't be a dog. It won't be a cat.
Right.
It won't be a bird.
Right.
It'll be a human, right?
Okay. Yes.
And when that baby's born, it'll be that. That's just science.
Yeah, it's on its way, as you say, when it's born. It is on its way to becoming a human. But at conception, it's not there. It's not a human yet. It will become a human, but right now it's not.
Let me ask you this: 1 + 1 = 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 + 1 = 2. That must mean that human plus human equals what?
Are they wearing a rubber?
No, yeah, human plus human equals human.
Not if they wear protection, it don't. What's your point?
But let's just get on with it, because that was one thing that I heard, but I got some other stuff I want to talk to you about.
All right, let's get to the other stuff, because you and I disagree. To me, if a woman is a month along in a pregnancy, that's not a human in her yet. It's going to become one, but it's not a human at that point.
Let's just agree to disagree on that. You know what I'm saying?
Fine. But show the point.
Like, one thing I always looked at with, I was listening to some of the people that came up into your chat and everything, some of the other people and everything. I'm listening left, right. I'm neither one, man. I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle, bro. I'm in libertarian.
If you believe a baby is as a human at conception, you definitely ain't left. I know that.
Like, yeah, but I one of the beautiful things about being libertarian in a way is like you look at life in a very different way. It's like I stand for people's rights until they get to the point where it affects other people and everything, right?
So you're a libertarian that is in favor of these bans?
Well, I'm a libertarian that's in favor of like just all around like human justice and right, but at the same time, I do look at everything in life and I ask myself one question, like, where are we going as a people? Where are we going as a nation? And where will we be 100 years from now? So if we're not going to be in a decent world where we just look at and slaughter kids and slaughter families and everything, if we look at that as okay now, what would be okay 100 years from now later on?
But what are you trying to say, that terminating the pregnancy is going to evolve into something else?
Evil has always begot other evil. So eventually it will evolve into something else. It's just like Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler evolved into.
So are you against the death penalty for criminals?
I'm against that. Yeah, I'm against that.
Okay, you're against that as well. All right. That is consistent at least.
Like for example, because it's human life. It's evil, bro. It's human life. And we each get chances whenever we give it those chances. We each get chances. I think when you get a lot of people that are one mindset, they're either overly conservative, they get overly liberal. They end up going down these paths that lead down these dark alleys and they don't realize where they're going. That's why we get Trump and that's why we get Kamala. That's why we get issues that we have right now. Mm-hmm. Look at our government, man. So what are you? You're a fan of Kennedy? I like Kennedy, and I like a few of the politicians that are.
Don't worry about. Right now, you're looking at Trump.
West. I like Cornel West.
Hold on, hang on. So who are you likely to vote for in this election?
Undecided, man. Undecided.
Who'd you vote for in the last one?
Truth.
That's all I want.
I voted for Trump. Prior to that, I voted for Hillary. Like I said, I'm in the middle. I flip between whichever one I like for what I'm looking for as a as a person and whatever I like right then as a like as a candidate. And it's every person's right to do that, correct?
So you voted for Hillary. She lost to Trump. He served 4 years. You voted for Trump to get reelected because you said you voted for Trump the second time.
I also voted for Obama.
Well, yeah, that's going back. But you voted for Trump to get reelected. So why wouldn't you vote for him again this election? What changed?
Everything changed, man. A lot of things changed.
Give me some examples.
Yeah. A lot of things changed.
Give me some examples. What changed?
Because like for a lot of things changed. Like I'm looking at everything. Like I said, I'm on the fence right now.
But wait, hold on. You voted for Trump to get reelected, so obviously you like what he did. You voted for Hillary, she lost, Trump won, and then after he served 4 years, you voted for him to get reelected. What has changed that is leading you not to vote for him to come back to the White House?
A few things that I found out, I do research on a lot of things, and I found out a lot of things.
You keep saying things. Define those things. That's what I'm trying to get to the bottom of.
All right, so let's talk about J.P. Morgan's drug thing. I don't know if y'all know about that. Like in 2019, the J.P. Morgan ship had over 20 tons of crack cocaine on it.
What did he do between then and now to make you go from voting for him to be reelected to all of a sudden downgrading it to undecided? What changed?
Life changed, man. Life changed. A little thing.
I'm trying to, yeah, I get all of that. Things happen, but when I start asking you to define the things, you get blurry. Give me some examples of what made you decide to not vote for Trump to get reelected like you did last election?
Well, for one, let's say the whole Palestinian thing is one. That's one.
Explain. What do you mean by the Palestinian thing?
That's one. That's why I'm saying I'm undecided. That's why I'm saying I'm undecided.
What about the Palestinian thing? Let's talk about the Palestinian thing.
You're looking at killing innocent people over there in Israel. That's one thing. You're looking at killing innocent people over there in Israel between the Palestinians and the Jews.
What does that got to do with Trump getting reelected?
No, that's what I'm saying. I voted for him back then. But now I'm undecided because I'm looking at both Biden and I'm looking at both Kamala and Trump. I'm undecided. I may not even vote this year.
I still don't understand. You voted for Trump after he was in office for 4 years to get reelected. You're not giving me any solid reason why you decided not to vote for him again. I'm clueless. You're not explaining it.
All right. There's some things I like about Kamala. There's some things I like about. No. There's some things I like about Kamala. Some things.
What are those things? You keep saying things.
One of the things I like about Kamala is the work. Is what she said about work and efforts and everything and work and how she's going to raise minimum wage. That's one thing.
You favor that.
There's some things that I like about Trump. There's some things that I like about Trump is when he talks about the border crisis and everything, right? Okay. But I also understood that he separated families. I understood that.
You said things have changed, though, up next. All of this stuff is old. The liberals been fighting for a minimum wage increase since she was a kid. The border has been, everything you're saying about the border, that stuff has been around since Trump came on the scene.
That's information, man. Information, let me ask you this. Whenever you get certain information, you change your views based on the information that you get.
Okay, so you're just learning, is what you're saying.
I'm just learning a few things.
All right, okay, all right. So
that's what I'm telling. I'm still learning a few things that is continuing to go down different paths in different ways. Like for one, let's do the strength by joy situation, right?
All right.
All right, let's do the strength by joy.
Hang on. I can't help but laugh at this comment. Black baby boy says stop interrogating you like Minister Society. You know you don't fuck them. That is funny. Go ahead, keep going.
Anyway, let's take the strength. Let's say strength through joy situation that Kamala and that's love and shout out the strength through joy.
Okay.
If you actually Google that strength through joy is actually the same slogan that was used in Nazi parties. That's strength through joy. That was the same exact thing. This is the reason why I'm telling you I'm undecided because at the same time you still running around. You learn information as you go. And that determines your overall outcome.
Let me give you one. Now, you're African American, right?
Yeah, I am.
Have you learned that Trump wants to give police immunity from prosecution in liberal cities?
That's one of the things that I learned.
All right. We learn it. I got to move it on up next. I do appreciate you coming in. We have a few tosses and turns there, particularly on pro-life, pro-choice, but you're always welcome back. Do appreciate you coming on, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
Anytime. All right, moving the program on, and I do want to respond to a couple of super chats. Why is it murder if you punch a woman and the baby dies? How can you get second-degree murder for punching a clump of cells? That is a really good point, by the way. Although I'm 100% pro-choice, that is how a lot of jurisdictions view it. Well, you know, you got places where it is legal for a woman to terminate a pregnancy, but if some stranger or criminal hits her in the stomach while she's impregnated, they get charged with a second criminal offense. Could be 2 counts of murder. If you hurt the woman and take her life, and while she's pregnant, you can be charged with 2 murders. So that is a good point. Din Cow, appreciate the underwater graphic. Shout out, Din Cow, thank you. You made my day with that. Appreciate that graphic. That's a good point, and that's why I truly believe that that the pro-life stance in America could go federal, because if you put that argument before the Supreme Court, certainly in its current Republican condition, I think it's a winner all day, every day. You know, look, you're already giving folks that harm an unborn child murder raps. Then why is a woman allowed to do it? I mean, or why is a doctor allowed to do it? If it's committing an act of murder for some criminal to punch her in the stomach, why does the doctor get away with it simply because he did it in a clinical way? That is a good argument. Like I said, I'm pro-choice 100%. But even if I, with my more left-leaning mindset, was on the Supreme Court, I can't counter that argument. It is a good argument. And I do believe that if you present that to the Supreme Court once Trump is in, it would lead to the Supreme Court. I mean, better yet, it would lead to the abortion bans going federal. The right don't want to tell you that, because at the end of the day, they know promising to do this federal is a loser come election time. But after the election is over, what I think you would be I think there's a really good chance that those bans would go federal, just on that argument alone. Once you get the Supreme Court to rule that taking the life of the unborn is murder, then in all of the left-wing states that terminating the pregnancy remains legal, now it's been deemed as murder. So at the very least, the federal government could go in those liberal states and arrest people for murder. There's your ban. There's no way in hell I'm going to tell you what a sensible amount of conviction that I believe if Trump wins, that stuff won't go federal. I think it's written all over the wall. I mean, not to mention, President Trump himself even stated once that it could go federal. And that's not even taking into account Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, Mike Pence, and J.D. Vance all saying it themselves. J.D. Vance was caught on tape saying that if you have a situation like a in a state that has banned terminating the pregnancies, let's say I think he used Texas for an example. He said if you got a state like Texas and George Soros, he's the right-wing boogeyman, and George Soros is using his money to give women plane tickets to fly to other states to terminate their pregnancies. According to J.D. Vance, and I played this on my night broadcast where you could actually hear him saying it, he said that I would be sympathetic to using federal intervention to stop him from doing that, to stop him from paying for women to leave a state with a ban to go elsewhere. That's federal. That's federal. And he used the word federal when he said it. J.D. Vance, your possible vice president, likely being VP to a candidate that is almost 80. J.D. Vance could be your next president. There's no denying that. Everybody don't live to be 90. Trump is almost 80 years old. J.D. Vance could be your president. And he's also came out and said he would be in favor of federal intervention. Absolutely could happen. Anyway, looking in the comments, JD Eyeliner, oh my God. Tanisha Beard. Naeem Barber says, the reasons libertarians are dumb, Jesus, because they believe capitalism won't lead to corruption, but know that capitalism leads to government corruption. Look, power corrupts people. And one way to obtain power is money. Capitalism absolutely will corrupt people. We've talked about socialism, Marxism, communism, and all these other isms and the bad things about those. Capitalism has a hell of a lot of bad stuff to it too. And none of these government, these ways of operating government or a country are absent of cons. None of them are just all pros. They all have pros and cons. Capitalism has a whole bunch of them, such as I stated earlier in the broadcast, if your whole focus is on making money, you dump waste anywhere that could lead to the deaths of people. You remove regulations like some folks blame what happened in Palestine, Ohio with the railroad and all the toxic waste. All of that's capitalism. To big tobacco telling you cigarettes are good for you and hiding all of the data they had to show that cigarettes were causing cancer for decades, if not generations. All of that's capitalism. They did all that so they can make money. People will kill you to make money, will watch you die, will watch you ingest poison if they're making a buck off of it. That's capitalism. It's the evil part of capitalism, but it is capitalism. One more crack on the super chat. The same reason doctors can pull the plug and you can't. That's one to discuss. Going back to the box. Tap the screen. 120,000 likes is possible. Still about 600 of you folks rolling with your boy. Same on YouTube. Smash that like button. 260. We can make that happen, right? 260. Top 3 dots at your screen there. Make that happen. 260. Going back to the box. Mr. G, one of the subscribers to the program. We always get him first digs. Mr. G, good afternoon. Supreme Court don't determine other... Wait, hold on, Mr. G. Supreme Court don't determine crimes. They determine if laws violate crimes. Well, the Supreme Court will determine what qualifies as murder or not. And they would determine that taking the life of the unborn is committing an act of murder. They would determine that. They determine laws. They don't write them. Mr. G, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. What's going on?
Not much at all. Good to have you on. How do you feel about the current political environment with the candidates we're dealing with? Do you think the country is going the right way, the way this election is looking?
There's no real direction right now.
Really?
Right now, it's just confusing. The right wants to go one way, the left wants to go the other way, and it's just meshing. It's just mixing too much.
What side of the aisle do you lean right or left?
I'm on the left. I'm on the left.
So you're likely to support Kamala?
I am.
How do you feel about the Democrats putting Kamala there and having Biden take a step down?
It's fine. Biden, I think he was fine. Oh, to answer your question, you asked the question a while back about Kamala not stating how Biden was.
Yeah, that was on a different day, but yeah, that's a different day. But I did mention that. How do you feel about the fact that Kamala Harris continued telling folks that Biden had no cognitive decline and that he could do another 4 years? You can answer it.
For that, I think it's because she didn't want to out her boss. You don't out your boss like that.
So she was going to likely sacrifice the country to prevent from outing her boss, as you put it? Hang on a second. Hold on a second, folks on YouTube. I need to close out a stop. I just got a quick text message that I didn't realize I didn't do. Okay. Let me go back to TikTok now.
I don't know. You froze.
Yeah. Am I there now? Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she was just protecting her boss, and if I think, and at the same time, I think she didn't want to say anything because I think that would have made her look bad too.
She did say stuff though. Wait. You said she didn't want to. You said she didn't want to say anything. She was saying things. She was saying things that were dishonest.
I don't think it was dishonesty either, because I think Biden was going to be fine he just had a bad night.
You really think that's?
I really think he had a bad night.
So you believe that Biden is capable of? So you do believe that Biden, with the exception of that quote unquote bad night.
So.
Hold on, hang on. With the exception of that quote unquote bad night, you do believe Biden is capable of giving us another 4 years?
Yeah.
Wow, I think you're in the minority on that one.
I think he's going to retire, and he's going to be chilling for the next 4 years.
So he'll definitely live. He'll be 86.
Yeah, he's going to retire and chill. That's it. I mean, I think because of the presidency, the power of the presidency, he had to go everywhere. He had to answer phone calls, all kinds of stuff. I think he was just tired. And hell, freaking Obama had got gray hairs for that.
Yeah.
Like he was perfectly. He had perfect black hair before he got in, and he looked like he got a whole snow cap on his head.
I don't disagree with that. And that was one of the. That was one of the benefits Biden was able to enjoy, is that he don't have to worry about the presidency aging him, because he already looks like he's old as hell. So he did get a benefit from that.
Yeah, and if Kamala did that, he outed Biden out like that, Republicans would have been all over it. I know that for a fact.
I don't know. I disagree with you. I disagree with you on Biden being so confident Biden can give us 4 more years. But so you are happy with Kamala or Kamala? You're happy with Kamala, or you're like, I don't care if it was Biden or Kamala?
Both. I don't care. Both. I'm happy with Kamala. That's fine. She's straight with me. You know what I'm saying? The lies about her. By the way, they about the laugh and the weed and all that stuff. That's cap right there too. She wasn't even on the docket for those cases.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, my opinion is this. What she did 30, 40 years ago as an attorney general is irrelevant to me. And I've said this before. When Trump was in office, people were bringing up things that happened in New York or women that he was with. And MAGA was saying, look, I don't care what he did before he got elected. I only care about what he's doing now as president. But then all of a sudden, Biden gets in there. We're talking about the 94 crime bill and Senator Byrd. And now we're talking about Willie Brown and all. I don't care about that stuff. That stuff is, that stuff goes back to when I was a kid. It's outdated. Willie Brown, that shit happened in the 80s. I'm sitting around playing with a Rubik's Cube while she's screwing that guy. That means nothing right now. So I look, at the end of the day, we'll see what she does. We can judge her on what she's done as a politician, but for me, that stuff is irrelevant.
Right. But the right ain't going. They don't play by the rules. The right will drag all those skeletons, if they could, out in the open just for the fear of it all. Yeah. They will drag her just on that, because I don't know what it is about the right when they want they see black people or whatever running. What they like. You think it's racial? Like
you think the resistance to Kamala is racially based?
Yes, it's always been. They did that to Obama. Like, it's been like that. Like, if I run now, I know they're gonna dig up my past. They're gonna try to dig up all my children. They're gonna dig up how much money I've given them or whatever. I already know they're gonna dig up all the skeletons out there.
So before I'm moving on, how do you respond to folks in the comments? On YouTube, I got Tommy saying, Kamala ain't even black.
For that, that's bullshit. Because if you just look at her, if the cops pull over right now, they're gonna classify her as they're not gonna say Asian or nothing like that. They're gonna call her a black woman, a black female. They pull me over, they're gonna call me a black man. Because if I say my father's from Panama and my mother's from Haiti, does that classify me black or what? What?
I gotta move it on, but you get no argument from me. I agree with that 100%. As far as I'm concerned, Kamala Harris is a black woman. Mr. G, thank you for coming through. I do gotta move it on. Come on back anytime.
I appreciate you, brother.
Same.
Right.
And I run this same commentary. What is it? You are basically chopping arms off of family trees. No, you're not, Vance Carter. You're not chopping arms off of family trees. You don't go around. Everybody in this nation, except the Native Americans, have an ancestry that's from somewhere else. All of us are. I think mine is Ghana. I'm not for sure. I did an Ancestry.com kit and like 21 fucking backgrounds came up, but Ghana, I think Nigeria was in there, but hell, they even had France in there for my black ass, so I don't know. But I will say this, we don't go around calling each other by nations of ancestry. We don't do that. I don't know why Kamala Harris is getting that. I mean, if that's the case, then you would call nobody white. You would be walking around calling people Russian, German, Iranian, you don't do that. So why the hell is it happening to Kamala Harris? So, no, you're not chopping off heritage and things like that. As I said before on yesterday's broadcast, on St. Patrick's Day, you have a hell of a lot of folks of Irish descent celebrating the holiday. But outside of that, they're all white people. They don't walk around. Look, you were born here in America. Your grandfather's Irish. Nobody's walking around calling you Irish. They're calling you a white guy or a white girl. If you want to say, look, my ancestry is from Ireland, fine. But you're called a white person. If you are born in America, I'll say it one more damn time for folks who may continue this same this train of thought. If you're born in America, you're one of 5 categories. You're either black, you're white, you're Hispanic, you're Asian, or you are Native American. That is it. If you're born in America, you're one of those, period. If you're born in this damn country, they don't say you're something else. Kamala Harris was born in California. She's not Jamaican. She's not Indian. Does she even have citizenship or residency from any of them damn countries? She's American. She's a black American. And she would know that if she gets a warrant put out for her. I guarantee it won't say on the police report, we're looking for a Jamaican Indian. It would say a black woman. If she was running down the alley and they were chasing her, they would radio they're chasing a black woman. If she was on World Star acting a fool outside of a club, people would be talking about, look at that black woman. It's crazy to bring up nations of origin. If that is the case, we all should be calling each other countries. Nobody does that. If you're born in America, you're Native American, Asian, Hispanic, black, or white. That is it. That is it. You don't go by the nation of origin from your damn parents or your grandparents. I don't even know if she has residency in Jamaica or India. Can she speak the language? She's not Jamaican or Indian. Looking in the comments, and I see somebody said that's just some MAGA bullshit. It is an attempt to otherize the lady. I do believe that. It's an attempt to otherize her. I don't think you know how this works, says Ultra Patriot. Feel free to let me know in the comments how it works. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. Now, I agree with Tommy saying she's not African American. She's American. In fact, none of us should be called African. You're either black, white, Hispanic, Asian, or Native American. But the fact is, the founding fathers, the whole, I hate to use race in it, but the whole white supremacist mindset of the country has always been to otherize people. White, black, Hispanic, Asian, or Native American. That is all you are. There is no country of origin. We don't. Why is she getting that treatment other than the gold being the otherizer? Let me go back to the box. Why do we have to call anybody by color, black, white? Well, you have to distinguish human beings. Like I said, if the police are looking for you or if they need to ID when you're on your driver's license, you're not going to go out and get a driver's license or a state ID and say, I don't want to put down anything but American. Nobody's going to get that option. Something might happen where they need to identify your ass. That's why you have to put a color down there. It really might come in handy one day if something were to happen to your ass. And they need to pick you out and find you. It makes a difference. It does make a difference. But saying she is freaking Jamaican or Indian, there's no need to do that. There's no need to do that. Trump is orange. And that's a good point. Pipe JP1 points out. Then you could say Trump is German. Isn't Trump's dad of German heritage? I know his grandparents. Trump has German heritage. Do you go around calling him German? No, call him a white guy. And that should be extended to Kamala Harris. Looking in the comments, she is Jamaican, she is Indian, she isn't African American. That is what people take issue with. She's not Jamaican. She's not Indian. She was born in this country on U.S. soil. She is not an Indian. She is not a Jamaican. If you're born in this country, you are an American. It is as simple as that. She's not Indian and she's not Jamaican. She is of Indian and Jamaican heritage, but as I pointed out earlier, everybody in this country has a heritage from somewhere else other than the Native American population, and we don't bring that shit up at all in their lifetime. When you go to school, when your parents enrolled you in school as a kid, they weren't telling where the kid's grandparents came from. It didn't come up. It never came up. She is not Indian. She is not Jamaican. She was born here. She was born here. She wasn't born in India or Jamaica. So how did she become Indian and Jamaican? Dems are talking race. Talk about the border, says Ranko. You have a point in regards to the value that talking about the border, talking about the economy has. But the first part of your statement is flat out false. You say Dems are talking about race. No, this shit came from Trump. The Democrats weren't calling Kamala Harris Jamaican and Indian. That's coming straight from the right. That's coming straight from the top of the right side of the aisle. She's overwhelmingly been accepted by the black community. That's coming from the other side. And by the way, you are correct, though. The right, according to Nikki Haley, Kellyanne Conway, and Karl Rove, all are saying that Trump needs to stop talking about the woman's race. It is a losing strategy. It's irrelevant, by the way. Demixie, thank you. Damn, I'm just saying, as a straight white male, I would love to change it to our country of origin instead of race. It sure would shut Washington up. No, actually it won't, because there's so many Americans that have multiple countries of origin in their history. Multiple. I mean, let's take Kamala Harris, for instance. Jamaican and Indian. Let's say she gets with a guy that maybe has mixed parents as well. So what does the kid have, like 8 different countries he's from? You can't do that. Otherwise, you want to go around and call somebody out. I mean, we're giving her 2. So what's her children? Because Kamala Harris' husband is a white guy. So he has at least one country of origin as well. So now what do you call the kids? Like 3 or 4 different damn countries? At some point, the confusion should be obvious. Okay, fair point, Denise. Yeah, thank you. By the way, appreciate the support. Yeah, you can't go by country of origin. This is Frozen Philosophy. Thank you for the super chat. Says, why do some Republicans support states' rights for pregnancy termination decisions but favor federal intervention on trans issues like participation in sports? It's hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy. Everybody is for individual states' rights. I say the same thing on free speech. Everybody is for free speech until you say some shit they don't like. Everybody is for states' rights until the states aren't doing things they like. Then they're fine with federal intervention. It's hypocrisy, frozen philosophy. It really is hypocrisy. And I do believe the right, which is saying how they favor states' rights, would be 100% in favor of federal intervention of preventing pregnancy terminations. If you had a politician like J.D. Vance get in there, or Mike Pence if he had a got in there, or even if it happens under Trump, if they were to impose Debo, appreciate the subscription, Debo, I've been called it. If Trump or any other right-wing politician imposed a federal ban on terminating pregnancies, you're not going to get a lot of protests from the right. They're claiming right now, we're not trying to do it federal, it's about states' rights. Look, if you're about saving the life of the unborn, knowing that babies are being saved in California, Illinois, or New York would only make you happier. You're not going to protest that. So the idea that the right is not in favor of it going federal, I don't believe that's true at all. I mean, you want to save the life of the unborn. You shouldn't be, you're not okay with it being done in the Bible Belt states, but you're okay with it being done in Illinois? No, you want to stop there too. I don't think you'd have any issue from the right if a politician got in play and decided to terminate it federally. I don't think anybody would complain. And I see your comment there, G says, and if you punch her, or I did read that, and if you punch her, she has a pregnancy termination date set a month out, do you drop it? Wait a minute. Okay, and this is complicated. And if you punch her, but she has a pregnancy termination set a month out, do you drop the charges to assault? Who determines the value of life? Like I said, I do believe if it comes down to the Supreme Court, they're going to rule that terminating a child is murder, period. Doesn't matter what state you're doing it in. The federal Supreme Court, if it was proposed to them, they would determine taking the life of the unborn is murder, and that would essentially create a federal abortion ban. Once it is deemed criminally, once it is deemed federally as murder, that means a doctor, the mom who's pregnant, none of them can terminate that life. It's murder. And that would give you your federal ban. And that, for folks who keep saying, well, the Supreme Court don't make laws. No, they're not making a law. They're determining the laws. They interpret the laws. If they interpret your action to be murder, they can say that. And they would interpret taking the life of the unborn to be murder. As we pointed out earlier in the broadcast, if you punch a pregnant woman in the belly as a suspect or a robber or something, you can be charged with 2 crimes, the mom and the unborn. So why is a doctor getting away with it just because he has clinical instruments? Yeah, I do believe it can happen both ways. And I'm pro-choice, by the way, 100% pro-choice, but I do believe it could happen that way. Keep your hands to yourself at all times unless you want things done to you. I don't know what that means. Trump knows he's losing, and that's why he's attacking her race. Could be. And I think the polls show that Trump is not doing anywhere near as good as he was doing with Biden. Alex, that says radio or something like that? We'll try to bring him up. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. If it brings him up, maybe not. I don't know what just happened there. Polls are all a distraction. I don't buy that. They may not always be accurate, but I don't know if they're all a distraction. Takesha, we haven't had a female. Certainly, we've been talking about enough pro-choice, pro-life conversation. Takesha,
hey, sweetie.
Hey.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How do you feel? You think the direction of this country, you think we're going in the right direction?
Man, I'm feeling so good, Tim.
You smoking?
I ain't lying, Tim. I feel better than a drunk in a room full of free alcohol with the tops off.
Damn. And what's giving you that feeling of euphoria?
I don't know. It's just the positivity that the positivity, the messaging that the Democrats are giving. It just look like the sun is shining a little brighter. The birds are singing a little better. You ain't got this doom and gloom messaging going on every gay.
Wow.
You know, we're a third world country. You know, and all this kind of stuff. You just finally got some hope.
So what you're saying is the Democratic Party is giving you a nice counterbalance to maybe the grievance politics of Trump. You said doom and gloom.
Yes, handsome.
Yeah.
You know, you never say anything good about America. It's always we're a third world country and we're headed to World War III. Nothing uplifting about the country. Whether you like the person that's in office or not, you still should have something good to say about the country that you want to represent.
But then I gotta push back on behalf of my MAGA viewers. Were the Democrats saying anything good about Trump when he was president?
Listen, we weren't saying anything bad about America. That's the difference.
Yeah, you were. Wait a minute. You were saying it's divided. You were saying that racism is on the rise.
I mean, handsome. We never called it a third world country. We never said it was the worst place to live right now. We didn't say stuff like that. We said he divided the country, which he did. That was evident. Like I said, he can talk about Biden them all he want to, but just don't make it seem like this is the worst country to live in because he's not running it. That's all I'm saying, handsome.
I mean, I get that, but I see somebody put in deplorables and things like that. The left was criticizing the country and the Republicans.
We were talking about Donald Trump.
You weren't talking.
And I'm not going to even lie about it.
You weren't.
I was talking about him. I talk about him now. I've been talking about him. I talked about him before he got in office because I've never liked the man. I don't agree when people say everybody loved him before he got in office. That's a hot lie because I've never liked Donald Trump. I didn't even watch The Apprentice.
What about the notion that a lot of prominent African Americans, prominent black folks also loved Trump before he got in office?
It don't have anything to do with me. I'm not a prominent black person.
But it goes against it. What about it going against the claim that he's intolerant and he don't like black folks? A lot of blacks was hanging around him.
Let me tell you something. You will use what you got to get where you got to get.
So he was using the black community?
You know, you got it. Let me tell you something. Even though they try to discount us, Tim, who votes they trying to silence?
Well, depends on who you ask.
Question.
Depends on who you ask.
Just answer the question.
And I'm answering it.
Mainly pander to both sides when they running for an election.
I'm not going to deny there are areas where the black vote, folks are trying to squash or at the least squelch the black vote. There is places like that.
And they always pander to us when it's time to get some votes. Because we are a very important race. In Alabama, they keep gerrymandering the maps to try to cut the black vote out. The Supreme Court has sent them back to redraw that map 4 times.
But then I gotta ask you this one. I hate to ask you this, but I'm hearing it, so I'm gonna ask you and I'll give you the floor. Because you're talking about pandering to blacks come election time. Some folks are suggesting the only reason that Kamala is no longer boasting about her Jamaican or Indian heritage is because she herself is trying to pander to blacks for votes. I got it out.
Why would she have to pander to us when nobody's saying she's not black, but mainly you people that are not black?
Mm.
Why she got to pander to us? She's an AKA, for God's sakes. Mm-hmm. My cousin is a skiwee. That's a black fraternity. She went to a HBCU college. She's not pandering to the people that already know she black. Y'all the ones complaining about her race. We're not.
Yeah, all right. Somebody says, wow, she sounds mad. Big mess. You don't sound angry.
Do I sound mad today, handsome?
Huh?
Do I sound mad
today? No, you sound normal.
Have you never heard me mad?
I have, but yeah, you sound normal today.
Is this sounding mad?
Listen, you know the diary.
Am I not quite calm today?
Have you ever heard of Tyler Perry, Diary of a Mad Black Woman? Maybe sometimes
I don't even own a diary. Well, listen, handsome. Seriously, I came up because I heard something on one of the little news stations, and they said that Donald Trump called Benjamin Netanyahu and told him to hold up on a ceasefire. Because
whoa, that would be horrible.
Yeah, and I'm trying to I need you to research while I research to see if it's true.
I'd like to know how they got their hands on that information. If it is, whoa, that would be bad.
This is what they said. They said, because Blinken is over there. And they said Donald Trump called and told Benjamin to hold up on doing a ceasefire because it would make Kamala look good. I'm not going to say it happened because, like I said, I want you to try to research it, and I'm going to keep researching it. And if I find out that's true, that is the lowest thing that I think Leaky Cheese could have ever done besides killing that border deal.
I will say this, and you're right about the border deal, rather. I will say this, that I don't think it's impossible that he would have done that because it would.
Because he had the man in Mar-a-Lago.
I don't think. I don't want to say he did it.
Georgia, it would not surprise me, Handsome. But if he did, that would be one of the lowest of the lows.
And I see D Nice in the comments and saying he's going to send it to you. Send it to me as well. I'd like to see what evidence you have of that. I don't want to say he did it, but I'm not going to say he is above doing that because of the border bill. Because of the border bill, it would not
shock me, but I think that that's very low if he did do that. I don't have any respect for him, and I definitely wouldn't have none for him after that.
Well, speaking of not having respect for someone, Gen X is in the comments.
We go with the sandwich man. What does he want?
Well, he's stating that you do indeed sound mad. He said, I ain't even going to smack that ass. You sound angry.
First of all, I'm very calm. And, Gen X doesn't even know what a woman sounds like, even out of the bedroom. So he couldn't be thinking that I sound mad. I'm not mad, so I'm very calm today. I haven't cracked on anybody or anything like that. I haven't raised my voice. So how do I sound mad?
I'm going to tell you, and maybe I'm not speaking in regards to Gen X or anybody specifically, but there is something a lot of folks that are not black, when they hear an African-American woman speaking, they just think you guys are
They just assume we have an attitude.
I get it all the time. Anytime I
not ever felt the wrath of a black woman?
Anytime I get an African-American guest, which is not that often, but when I do, black female, somebody in the comments refer to her as sounding angry. I don't know how you...
I don't know why they attribute that to us, because their women are meek and, because their women are rollover Rondas.
No, you sound just as bad as them now.
Talk to them any kind of way and they just, bow and say, yes, sir. And black women don't do that. We're not angry. We just know how to stand our ground.
You mean there are women out there that are rollover for me and say, yes, sir? Where they at? I'm just asking for a friend.
Well, they can't be skin folks, sweetie.
Oh, okay. All right.
You know where to get them from.
Would they call me daddy too? Just wondering.
They would call you Poppy.
Yeah.
Poppy. That just turned you on. I saw that sweat come off your bald head, Poppy. Poppy.
You about to make me you about to make me go real interracial. Let me ask you this also.
You so crazy. Find out for real. I really want to know if that really happened.
Yeah, I would like to know that too. But like I said, if it helps Trump, here's something I don't understand. And Angie, I did see your comment saying, did Hillary Clinton say that? I don't know, but I said this. I said, hold on. I said this.
Hillary.
No, I know that. But I said this earlier in the program. Even if Trump did not say, or better yet, let's say Benjamin Netanyahu refuses to do a ceasefire, whether Trump told him to or not. Let's take that out of the picture. Let's just say he continues bombing the Gaza Strip and goes into Hezbollah and does it to them too. The folks who do not like the liberals because Biden is not getting them a ceasefire, do they really think Trump would be a better option? If you're pro-Palestine, pro-Gaza, and you don't like what's going on under the Biden administration, do you really think Trump is going to hold Benjamin Netanyahu accountable in Israel?
He had the man over there for chicken fingers and French fries. I mean, really, what do they think, Hansel? These people live in an alternate reality, and you act like you don't understand that. They don't live in the reality that we're living in.
No, I'm not talking about I'm talking about the folks who are pro-Palestine walking down the street.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They live in an alternate reality. This man supports Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu. How is this going to help you all?
Yeah, and I see in the comments. Here's another one for you. God, you sure bring these out. I'm about to say Braderton Care or something says she is the epitome of the stereotype. What? What is
stereotype?
You are the
stereo RCA, Venus, Sanyo. What am I? Emerson, Venus. What kind of stereo am I? What type of stereo are you looking for? What you looking for? What's the
you said a Zenith. Did you say a Zenith? I haven't seen a Zenith. Is that
yeah, what kind of stereo am I? Am I do I come with Wi-Fi? Do I come with what kind of stereotype am I? I mean, do I play records? Do I just play CDs? Do I come with Wi-Fi speakers, or do I have the speakers that attach to me? What type of stereo am I?
I gotta say, not only are you telling your age like I am as well, but you take us back to a more better day when we actually had all those American brands. You said Zenith. Wow. Do they still even exist?
He said I was a stereotype. I was just trying to see what type of stereo was I.
I get it. I get the joke.
I don't know why they come for me, handsome, because it makes absolutely no sense.
Fair enough. I'll leave it at that. All right, Takesha, I got it moving on.
I got to get my grandbaby ready for soccer.
All right. Oh, good on you. All right. Appreciate it.
Soccer.
Oh.
My mommy don't have my okay.
Good talk. Good talk.
All right, please.
As always. All right, moving on. What the hell did I just do? All right, I got to undo that. Okay, there we go. I don't know what I had did there for a minute. All right, moving on to the program. Has Karine Jean-Pierre, that's Biden's spokesperson, has is that her name? Karine Jean, I know the woman, the black woman with the has Karine Jean-Pierre said Kamala's policies and Biden's policies are joined at the hip. So anything Kamala's going to do for the next 4 years will be exactly the same as what they've done. No, she's not. She never will say that because there's no way to know that. And I don't buy into the claim that Kamala Harris is going to be the exact replica of Biden. No vice president is. We know she's going to lean left. She's going to favor more policies of Biden than Trump. But I'm sure she's going to differ from Biden on a lot of things. I mean, that's just like Mike Pence would not be a carbon copy of Trump. Mike Pence is the real deal when it comes to evangelicals and some of that. J.D. Vance and Mike Pence are very similar. Trump is a populist. Trump is just simply rewarding those who treat him right. He's different. But J.D. Vance and Mike Pence, I believe, are far more similar to each other. Looking in the comments, though, a megaphone that lets her view be heard loud and clear, even if you don't agree. Well, Ray Carpenter, your view is being heard on the program as well. Folks, I don't block, ban, or censor anyone. It's not like I'm giving one guest preferential treatment over another. I don't even give one party preferential treatment over another, including myself. I will let you speak without any concern of being blocked, banned, or censored. Give you ample time, even if your comments are critical. That's how free speech works. What do we say every day? In addition to the fact that we are MAGA friendly, we go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Kuna. Everybody gets to speak. That's how the program works. I want to thank the subscription that just came in, and I can't see who sent it. I do apologize. So that was Top Dog. Thank you, Top Dog. I appreciate that. We always show our subscribers some love, and we'll do that. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. If y'all were woke, y'all would know that Biden and Kamala been deceased. Wake up. Now, we just seen Kamala Harris and Joe Biden on television yesterday. Top Dog, I'm hearing that both of those individuals are deceased. What say you?
How you doing, handsome?
I'm doing good.
Oh, yeah, man, they alive and well. From what I'm seeing, I don't know what they talking about.
They're saying we are asleep and that these folks are dead and gone.
Nah, they're alive and well right now.
Yeah. I've never heard of that. Kamala Harris, by the way, she would have died pretty damn young. I mean, she just turned 60, didn't she?
Yep. Well, about to, one of them.
Yeah, that's crazy. So how do you feel about the direction of this country now that we got Kamala as opposed to Biden. You think we heading in the right direction?
Oh yeah, definitely in the right direction. You know, we don't want to go back to Trump and all the bull crap that come with it. You know what I mean? So yeah, we definitely moving forward. The Democratic Party, you know, we gotta go ahead and get this out the way, this election, and then after that, I feel like Kamala to try to somehow, I don't know how, but somehow try to unite the country.
You think so? You don't see Trump being able to unite the country?
Nah, man, he divided this country. You know what I mean? Just like the elections and the polls and things like that. A lot of those votes, you say it all the time, is anti-Trump votes.
Yeah.
So it's some people like me. It's nothing that Trump can say or do to make me be like, okay, cool, he's okay. I like him. For me, and I'm sad it's that way, but he crossed the line so many times that I've seen in my life.
Wow.
Yeah, there's nothing he can say to me. Like a caller earlier said, Trump's going to go up there and after he's going to talk and be nice and all that. Even if he did handsome, it wouldn't matter. Nobody. He'll really look weak. I ain't gonna even lie to you. Damn. He would.
Now I will say, like I told that previous caller you're referring to, that Trump has been, you know, in attack mode for 2015. So what is it? 9 years, almost 10 years. I would agree with you that a month or two before the election, you're not going to change all those hearts and minds on something you've been doing for, you know, almost a decade. So I do agree with that, but strong economy, things like that, none of that would make a difference?
No. Like even right now, when you look at the polls, I know they say the polls do different things, but right now, he's dominating her on the poll. Who the country think would be better with the economy? Even right. With that being said, was still gonna vote left.
Yeah, that is true.
Even though they feel that he could do better, but I'd rather take my chances over here. You know what I mean? So
how does that make the average voter, particularly the average liberal voter, look? Admitting that Trump would be better for the economy, better for the border, better to get inflation down, but voting for Kamala instead of Trump. Does that make the liberal voter look kind of foolish at all, any?
Not at all, because the liberal voter might be in a situation where the economy's, it might be okay to him.
Yeah. Like
I say, for me, I got a house, I got vehicles, I got income, small business owner, independent operator, truck driver. The economy is good right now, so I don't see what the other side see right now. In Oklahoma City, diesel prices is $3 right now.
So you're
living life right now.
So you're a local truck driver. You're not going national. You don't do.
No. I'm cool on that.
Okay, because I'm about to say the gas prices are a lot if you're over the road.
Oh, yep.
So you feel Kamala's up to the job?
Oh yeah, she'll definitely get the job done. You know what I mean? With a good team around her. You know what I mean? Put a good team around her. Yeah, I mean, I think she'll do damn good. You know what I mean? I'd rather take my chances that way, and then going back to Donald Trump and go back to all that stuff again. And nah.
Now, when you say you'd rather take your chances with Kamala, as opposed to quote unquote going back to all that stuff, I need you to elaborate. What stuff are you wanting to suggest you would never go back to?
Well, I got to deal with Donald Trump in the news every day. I got to deal with Donald Trump and all his slight weight, somewhat racist remarks. It just won't stop. The media's going to keep spinning because they're not just picking at Trump. See, this is what I don't understand about the right. They make it seem like Trump is just so innocent. He's innocent and he's just picking on him. No, he needs to be held accountable for what he's been accused of being done.
But you suggested that some of his comments are somewhat racist. What is he saying, in your opinion, to lead you to make that statement?
When he said something about the Muslims, I remember that one right there. I mean, Tim, it's so many of them. I mean, we don't even try to keep up with them no more. I hate to say it that way. And people are like, what? If it's so many, if it's Sam, yeah, you're right. But there's so many of them. It's like we don't even care no more. It's like, all right, whatever.
So you basically are what they would say is all trumped out.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like the country's the same way. That's why Kamala's getting so much light right now. If you go back on the news right now, watch news and CNN, they showed up with Nikki Haley back in I think February or January this year. She was talking to an anchor. She said, whoever drops the old man is going to have the first female woman.
Yep,
she said this back in February, and I kind of believe that. People might not love Harris and Biden or whatever, Walsh too much, but we don't want to go back to that. And people just Like my daughters, for instance, they weren't even talking about voting. They wasn't at 19 and 20. They weren't even talking about voting. You know what I mean? But since Kamala came in office, they registered to vote. You know what I mean? They ready to go. You know what I mean? It's a whole different face. When they see two old white men, it didn't mean nothing to them.
Yeah.
So,
and that's one thing I've said on the program for months now that I give Trump credit for, is that he has brought more people, like him or hate him, he has brought more people to the political forum than any president in our lifetime. I mean, all over the place, young people like your relatives, young people that are talking about they're going to vote. As you are rightfully saying, a lot of times the young crowd was sitting out elections. He is bringing people in to vote, whether they like him or hate him. And I would assume most of the under 30-year-old crowd is not big Trump fans, but he is leading to them voting. He is causing people to vote.
I mean, and and like I always tell people, they say, well, on the right side, well, why you guys don't like, well, if all these people is coming out, they don't like him, shouldn't you look at him? Why you think these people don't like you? It's just like you got a kid in school, Tim, real simple. He keep coming on, everybody's messing with me, everybody, everywhere you go, they messing with you. Everywhere you go, these kids is messing with you. Well, sometimes you got to, as a parent, say, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? What's causing everybody to keep picking at you or whatever it may be? So same thing with Trump. He gets up there and cry and whine and, like I tell everybody, he's a drama. I look at Trump as he's a drama queen, what they call a drama queen. Always got something going on, always whining, complaining, crying about something.
Yeah. I can't argue with you. That is a good point. If everywhere you go, somebody don't like you, somebody after you, what the hell are you doing to make this happen? Because they say that even this whole administration, I don't think there was a single member of Trump administration. I think Attorney General Barr finally joined in, but everybody else are saying that Trump should not get reelected. And and everybody, well, they all sellouts. They all had, no. What are you doing? So many people don't like you.
MAGA's quick to say this. Well, look at his policies. Don't worry about his mouth and what he's been saying. That's what you worried about. I don't like his mouth. Yeah. If he was staying next door to me or stayed in the same apartments, he talked like that. No, I wouldn't like him. I wouldn't like him. If he acted that same way, he stayed next door to me, I would not like him. You know what I mean? He don't show
but how do you respond to folks who say, yeah, maybe I don't like him. Maybe he is not the right guy to have dinner with, but in terms of leading the country, he has the best policies.
Well, okay. Well, like I always told you before, Tim, this is our 10th time talking. I'm a military man. So I look at my leadership. That's who set the tone for the country.
Wow.
Some people in America, they like him. I don't like him. I don't like the way he projects to other countries, how they look at him. No, we're not like him. We're not disrespectful like him. They always say, the right always say, well, he had other countries, they respected him. No, they didn't respect him. He was just another leader. They didn't humble themselves to Donald Trump, and when he come through, they bow and kiss his hands. No, he's just another leader from America.
Oh.
He wasn't nothing special. They didn't open up doors for him and, greet him like he's no, he's just another president from America. In about 4 to 8 years, they have another one.
Yeah. That's pretty straightforward. I don't disagree with any of it, but I see in the comments, Braderton Care says, in reference to you, typical liberal voter, he's very emotional and runs off emotion. You asked him questions and he had zero. I think he answered the questions there.
That's what the right say about, people that's voting on it. They're emotion. They're voting on emotions. Well, we're voting on policies. Okay, well, that's what you vote for. If you say I'm voting on feelings and whatever you want to call it, that's fine. You take your vote and you vote that way. I'm going to vote that way. But right now, I feel like the Democratic Party, we don't have it in the bag. It's Trump's, race to lose. And as long as we keep going and spreading the word, I feel that when, November, we can go in there and knock it out the box. The only fear I have, Tim, this election, the only fear I have is Trump's already putting it out there that the election, something's going to happen, My biggest fear is the election happen the next day, they find a way to get it in the court systems. Ooh. That's what I believe. That's Trump's Trump card. If I don't win, if I don't beat her the right way, well, I'm going to find a way to get it to the Supreme Court. And I have no faith in them.
Yeah,
so I believe that's their angle on the right side. If we don't win the right way, our second option is to find a way to get it to the Supreme Court. And we're gonna figure something out.
I don't disagree with the belief that the Supreme Court is pro-Trump. I mean, he's personally appointed at least 3 of them. I hope it doesn't go that way, but
Hey Tim, at this point, when it comes to the Supreme Court, you ain't even got to question it. They in his back pocket.
Yeah.
They ain't even no question.
Yeah.
They showed that. So we have no faith in that right there. So
I think MAGA may not be as quick to say what you're saying, but I think they also, because if it was the other way around and you had a liberal that appointed 3 other people on the court personally by himself, they would be saying the same thing. Yeah, and I like some of the actions, giving them immunity without even defining what it is pretty strong conviction in favor of what you're saying. But I want to ask you one other question before I move it on. You said you're a regional draft. This is off topic, but it came from a super chat, so I'm gonna certainly read it.
I'm out in Oklahoma City. I do Oklahoma. I might go, I do Amazon Relay, where you go from Amazon here in the city and go to different post offices in different cities. Sometimes I might go to Kansas. Sometimes I might go to Dallas, but usually it's somewhere in the state of Oklahoma.
And this is your vehicle?
Yes, a box truck.
And I was told to ask you, please ask him, how is he a local owner op? I'm an owner op trucker, and I've never heard of that in my career. Regional maybe, but local rare as fuck.
I just told you what it was. It was Amazon. It's Amazon Relay, and you go to post offices within your state or whatever, your surrounding states. It's simple.
Fair enough.
Tell them to Google it.
All right, fair enough. I got to move it on. No, Top Dog. Appreciate the support. Come back anytime.
Yes, sir. We'll talk, Tim. Thank you.
Absolute. Oklahoma, that is a state, by the way, that is now forcing kids to read the Bible as part of their curriculum. Ryshine Powell, thank you for the super chat, says Trump is backing out of the debate with VP Harris again? Really? Has anybody heard of that? Ryshine Powell says Trump is backing out of the debate with Vice President Harris again. Simply put, they don't have an answer for her or what she's bringing forth. I have not heard that. Really? I have not heard that. And somebody, J-Lo in the comments on the TikTok said, I doubt he backs out. I started out by flat out saying Trump doesn't run from a damn thing and there's no way he would run from Kamala Harris. I still somewhat believe that, but I am wavering on that. Trump is back. I haven't heard that. Has any of you folks ever heard that? Have any of you folks heard that Trump is backing out of the debate with Kamala? I have not heard that. Fact check live. He won't run. He's probably scared to be fact checked. Well, and Kamala Harris certainly has a long history of being being in the courts. So she's on the other side of, savvy defense attorneys, expensive defense attorneys, smart defense attorneys that are going to present stuff. So she's used to fact checking people and, having a decent debate. She would be a very big challenge for someone like Trump. But however, I will point out, Tulsi Gabbard trashed Kamala Harris. Tulsi Gabbard didn't have a problem with Kamala, but Trump is a different animal. Trump is someone who just, speaks off the cuff, exaggerates, and says wild stuff. Different debater. But Tulsi Gabbard did pretty well against Kamala Harris. But as I said, Trump is no Tulsi Gabbard. Dmixie says, that's a straight truck driver, LOL, not an owner-op trucker, like he said at first. I love your show, man, and he can Google these nuts. Wow. Well, let me just say this. You said that's a straight truck driver, not an owner-op. If you own a straight truck, do you have to have because I used to be an expediter. I'll go back to the actual topic, but I used to be an over-the-road expediter myself in a Sprinter van, and I would haul 6 kids, lived in the van, did it all over the country for 4 years. I'm under the impression that if you own a straight truck, you're an owner-operator. Does the truck have to bend in the middle? If you own a straight truck that can hold, I don't know how many skids you can put in a straight truck, but why is that not an owner-operator? Somebody says no CDL. You're still an owner-operator, right? How is that not an owner-operator? Let me go back to the actual comments. He's jealous. He's jealous of that man making a living, says Sandra. Oh my God, you guys are harsh. Be nice to the guests, folks. He works for the white man. Hating Trump's ignorance is a bliss. Yikes. Going back to the box. Tap the screen. Can we get 150? 150 with 2 Ds? Is it possible to get 150? Tap the screen, show the program some love. Appreciate you folks that already have done that. Same on YouTube. Smash that like button. Get us up to about, we might be able to pull off 300. That might be a bit much on YouTube asking for that, but this is uncensored programming. Before I go back to the next guest, I understand we don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. So if you favor that type of dialogue from all sides of the aisle, I'd ask you folks, follow the program on TikTok, on YouTube. Feel free to show your boy some love with a subscription. We're here Monday through Friday, same channel, same bat time. Demixie says, yes, he is an owner-op, but not a trucker, a box van. Big-ass straight truck, you don't call that a truck? You don't call a straight truck a truck? He's an owner-operator, but not a truck, box van. I don't know. I want Demi XY. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I think you're playing word games. That's kind of semantics, isn't it? So a straight truck is not a truck, it's a box van? All right, let me go back to the box. That was my point. He made it sound like he was a trucker. All right, look, I'm not in the industry. Bullets 40 says he's hating on a black job. I love that comment. He's hating on a black job. Wow. Pro Amateur. He told me he uses his truck. He told me he uses his truck to transport illegals. Yikes. You can make a lot of money doing that. You can get a lot of time, of course, as well if you get caught. But can you imagine how many illegals you can fit in a box truck? I'm certain it's been done successfully before. But I do recall, before we go back to the box, there was a case in Furback. Thank you for the subscription. Appreciate that. Shout out to you, Furback. There was a case under the Biden administration when he first got elected of a bunch of illegals that were brought over in a truck. And I guess the authorities got onto him. The driver of the truck abandoned and left him there. And by the time the authorities opened up the truck, a bunch of them had died. You know, on the border, there's this, the heat is ridiculous. For any of you drivers, you know what it's like down there in Laredo, El Paso, Far, all of those border towns. It's really hot down there. You're in the desert. And by the time the authorities opened up the truck, most of the immigrants inside that were being smuggled had died from the heat. Now, I'm only bringing this up, obviously, because of the truck conversation, but also because if you listen to the commentary coming from the right, Biden is for open borders. That whole incident shows that that's not true. If the border was open, you wouldn't need to smuggle people in. If it's open borders, why the hell are people being smuggled in? They're only smuggling them in because the border's not open. And I used that as a pushback when that happened earlier in the Biden administration, because folks are blaming him for that. Like the border, if they have to do that, then clearly the border's not open. You wouldn't do that in the format of an open border. Why the hell would I be in a hot-ass truck if the borders are open? The only reason you do that because that's the only option available to you. Anyhow, going back to the box. Come on, Tim. We've seen the footage. Footage of what? U.S. drivers do this back and forth, my man. I'm just messing with him. We semi-drivers make fun of hot shots. Yeah, they make fun of us in vans. I remember that. And box trucks. And they make fun of us, and we collectively hate on. Okay, all right. Then you're just doing it as a joke. Difference. All right, going back to the box. Continuing on with the program. Thank you, folks, for tapping the screen. Deborah Richards. Good afternoon, Deborah. 150. Tap the screen, folks. Hit the likes up. Deborah, good afternoon. She came and went. All right. I'll keep it moving. Hot shots can make damn good money. I don't want to go too far off topic, but it depends on who you drive for. Load one, yes. Panther, no. Somebody said, I love your lives. There's no place like home. I think that says thank you for the compliment. Appreciate that. Hey, Unc Tim, have a great rest of the day. Jay Ass coming from Kerry Kempkin. Thank you. Appreciate that. Obama had camps for immigrants. And by the way, when Obama was president, folks often talk, because Trump, once he got in trouble or got criticized for separating families at the border, it was not uncommon for Trump to say, well, listen, the Obama administration was doing it too. And you didn't give him the same treatment you're giving me. You know why Obama didn't get criticized the same way Trump did? Two reasons. First of all, Trump was bragging about doing it, which is kind of cruel to some degree. Even the police don't brag about separating you from your child if you caught committing a crime. They don't brag about it. It's not something to brag about. But the second reason is this. Not the Democrats, but the Republicans, the commentators were too busy lying, and I'm putting emphasis on lying, being flat out dishonest, and saying that Obama was for open borders. So while he was deporting every damn body, now I think Limbaugh said the deporter in chief, he was telling the truth, but most Republicans couldn't come out and tell you because he's on the other side. They couldn't come out and admit, Obama's doing a really good job securing the border. They couldn't tell you the truth. So that's why Obama didn't get in as much trouble as Trump for separating children at the border, because the right couldn't really tell you about it. They were too busy saying he was for open borders when he clearly was not. And then all of a sudden, once Trump got in trouble for doing the same thing Obama did, he had to come forward and admit, actually that last guy was doing this too, but we were saying he was for open borders. Looking in the comments, they were so concerned about tarnishing Obama's presidency from the beginning. That sounds familiar. Folks will say they never gave Trump a chance from day one, but you are in fact correct. They never gave Obama a chance from day one either. I think somebody on the House floor even stated their whole goal was to make Obama a one-term president. I think that was Mitch McConnell. Going back to the box, tap the screen, 150. We are so close. So close on TikTok. Lawless Ship. Good afternoon, Lawless. Welcome to the program. They were so concerned about, do they get off on hurting people? I don't know who they are, but some people do. Some people do. We'll try to bring up the next guest. We'll give it a minute to reset. They never said Trump wasn't American born. Bro, he is born in America, isn't he? What do you mean? Obama had record deportation. Yeah, but they were saying he was for open borders. They didn't tell you the truth about what Obama was doing until it was advantageous to bring it up to help save Trump. But while he was actually doing it, they were lying and said he was for complete open borders. He was not for doing all of that. So go figure. If the border ain't open, then why the 15 million and 20 million illegals footing in? Is it because the world fears and respects Trump, not Biden and Kamala? Well, let me respond to a couple of things. First of all, the 15 to 20 million illegals is flat out false. That it's under the Biden's administration. Biden's been in office almost 4 years. 15 to 20 million people have not come here. That's just false. And I'll tell you a good example of that is look at Trump's rallies. The number of how many people are in this country, it just fluctuates all over the damn place. He's just making up numbers. I don't know what the actual number is. I mean, it's too many. I get it. They should be vetted. I'm not saying Biden is doing a good job at the border at all. I think they've done a bad job at the border. But the numbers, the statistics that Trump give you are, in my opinion, flat out false. They're just designed to gin up anger and or fear. I mean, I seen him literally say at a rally, 10 million illegals were here, and then like a month later, he had went up to 18. Just 8 million people in like a month. That's insane. It's not true. So same thing with they're not sending us their best and brightest. They're sending us their, unalivers and sexual grapers. There's no evidence of that. Look, in a crowd of 1 million, 5 million, 10 million, 18, whatever. Yeah, there may be some bad people in there, but nowhere near to the number that what Trump is saying. Trump is exaggerating on a lot of this stuff. And look, and the same thing you said, is it because the world fears and respects Trump and not Biden and Kamala? Based on what makes you think the world fears or respects Trump? When Trump went to London, they had a dirigible, a blimp of Trump as a baby with a diaper on, walking down the streets of London. Is that what respect and fear looks like? They don't look. Some as one of my guests said earlier, there are some people that like Trump and some don't. But yeah, I don't. He's another world leader, which is what my guest said. He was just another world leader. There are plenty of people. Vicente Fox of Mexico, when he said we're not going to pay for that fucking wall, is that respect for Trump? I don't think so. So no, world leaders don't respect. Some do, some don't. Simple as that. They also had a group of supporters. Yeah, it's an obsolete, exorbitant amount that we Americans have to pay for while Americans are struggling. Depends on who you ask. I'm not gonna disagree with your comment, but I don't think all Americans are struggling, and I don't think that is the reason why. The gang members that spoke up said they are on standby till they are given a signal. That makes me wonder what signal. Gangbangers that are on standby. I don't know what to do with that. All right, let me go back to the box. I see somebody says, I surely don't respect Trump, says Scott Reynolds. Going back to City Indy. If I can hit the button there, don't know what I just hit. Let's try it again.
Hey, what's going on, Tim?
Stig, good afternoon.
How you doing, Tim?
As I always say, I'm hanging around like Mike Pence on January 6th. So, how do you got a loud background?
Sorry about that.
Okay. So, how do you feel about heading towards this election? 78 days. Do you feel things are going in the right direction or in the wrong direction?
I feel energized, man. I ain't gonna lie. We finally catching up with Mexico. We're gonna have a female president.
So you feel confident Kamala's going to win?
Oh, definitely. She's way more appealing to majority of the world, let alone America, in the sense of the United States.
I just had somebody, wait, hold on, Stick. I just had somebody tell me that it was Trump that was more respected and feared. You're telling me it's Kamala?
Man, I have it on my profile. You go on my actual videos. I have the UN laughing at this man.
Yeah, I've seen that video. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean,
because Trump himself stated, I wasn't expecting that reaction.
Yeah, and that was even funnier because they really just was like, yeah, this guy's a real idiot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think he was saying one of those exaggerations. He was in the process of saying that he had did something that was better than anybody else had did in history, and they all cracked up laughing. And he was like, "Well, I wasn't expecting that reaction." And those were other world leaders.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, because he was thinking that they were just gonna roll with it and clap for him and all of that, which they did end up clapping for him because they was like, "Man, this is a funny ass dude." This is, I mean, he pulled it off, Tim. Being honest, like he really showed how stupid he was, but he pulled it off because of what he said and how he reacted to it. Because, I mean, okay, you got me, but I still wasn't expecting that. He just thought by him being the president of the United States, by him being Donald Trump first, I'm sorry, I said that backwards, by him being Donald Trump first and then the president of the United States, he's no laughing matter no matter what he says. But again, they gave him what he didn't expect. And then he said something that they really didn't expect and was like, you know what? Just because you're funny as hell, man, we're just gonna, clap. Look at the idiot.
I don't know if I would say it was that bad. I mean, I do believe there are some world leaders that respect Trump. I think that, the leader of Hungary respects him. I think he's friends with Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin. I don't know if they respect him, but I think they're friendly with him.
When's the last time you went to Hungary? When's the last time you sat down with your hungry friend? And I don't mean he wants something to eat. I mean, he's from Hungary. When's the last time that you sat down with somebody from Hungary?
All right, I can't argue with that.
So
you think they would respect? Wait a minute. You think they would respect Kamala? She's a woman. You think the world stage she would be respected?
I'm gonna be honest with you, Tim. I don't think none of them are respected. What they are respecting is the United States military.
Yeah.
They know that if you mess around and find out
Yeah.
That's really a military thing. Mess around and find out, because not to bring up the 9/11, but man, that was a big thing. I mean, regardless of who you was and what color you was an American. And when we zoom in on your ass, we zoom in on your ass. Yeah, but there's no repercussions or nothing.
But wasn't that Trump who told an adversary, showed him a picture of his house to get him to act right?
I guess it was. I don't know nothing about that, but it probably was. I believe Trump is like that because, again, they're not respecting Trump. They're respecting our military. They know our capabilities. That's my point. So again, Kamala, she's gonna have our military. She's gonna be respected on that note. Listen, I could give a damn if I one-on-one her. Yeah, one-on-one, I might be able to whoop that ass. But that military she got? Oh, no, I don't want none of that. I'm straight. Yeah, that's I mean, they talking real layman over there. I'm straight. Yeah, I don't want none.
And I see in the comments, in regards to what we're talking about, Ed G in the comments said, of course the world loves them under Biden and Harris. It's unlimited American taxpayers funding them. You're talking about the military. He says Trump wants to cut back on all of that. So under Trump, you don't have to fear the U.S. military as much because we don't want our tax dollars going to, use it in other nations.
Tim, what Republican has decreased the military? I don't know none. I was in the military during Bush expansion. At the end of Clinton, it was cut. I remember being a little kid in New Jersey and New York because my mom was at Fort Dix. Well, she was in under Clinton. So at the end of the day, they cut that off. Fort Dix. That might even came before my mom came. So at the end of the day, that was crazy. Yeah. That was crazy. So the Republicans, they don't believe in a smaller military. They believe, again, just as well as I believe, because I was in the military, that the military is what gives us our flex. Regardless of what you're saying, like right now, we got the destroyers and all of that stuff and subs over there by Iran because we want them to jump stupid.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that.
Honest, yeah, we want them to jump stupid so we can really show you. And then on top of that, we're already showing you without even the manpower, without using our soldiers, we've sent our old equipment to
Ukraine.
What's the other boy? Ukraine. Yeah. And the Ukrainians are doing. They're all in Russia.
They do. Something that is a good point because we talk about Biden supposedly looking like a weak leader. You're right. Under the Biden administration, a lot of Russian ass has been kicked, and I think that also, as you're pointing out, the Ukrainians, with the assistance of Biden supplying them with weapons, have shown that Russia is way more closer to being a paper tiger than we realize. Now, they have atomic weapons, but their conventional capabilities are way less than we thought they were before this began.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, they got a lot of old equipment too, but it's obsolete compared to our old equipment.
Yeah, they can't even fight at night.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're old tanks and amphibious vehicles and all of that stuff is like over there in the Ukraine burnt up on roads and know whatever is good, I'm pretty sure the Ukrainians take and they use it against them. But that stuff, they don't even need it. They're getting our old equipment, and our old equipment is giving them an ass whooping that they don't even know how to react to.
Yeah, but how do you respond?
On top of that, they're cutting their bridges off.
How do you respond to this? And I can't even come close to pronouncing the name, but someone says this Ukraine war will go on for years if the Democrats remain in power and we're losing money. How do you respond to that? That we'll keep supplying them and they'll keep fighting off Russia for years under us, but if you put the Republicans in power, you won't have to deal with this.
Well, the Republicans are lying because, number one, they love making money just as well as anybody in America, not just Democrats, independents too. Everybody loves making money. This is a capitalist country.
True.
Well, if you know anything about the way this is going, you know that we sell them, in a sense, our old weapons and or give them or tax them or whatever you want to call it. We end up taking that money that we get from them and going back and getting new weapons. Yeah. So it's an ongoing cycle of money that really is already allocated towards that defense bill.
Yeah.
So because if they defend us, if they defend themselves against Russia, they're in a sense also defending us, because we don't want them coming over to the Ukraine and past the Ukraine.
Yeah.
So if the Ukrainians can fight them off themselves, and all we got to do is help them out a little bit, and at the same time we make money too, that's what we're going to do.
And I agree with that. At the end of the day, we're not giving the Ukrainians anything. It's an investment. At the end of the day, America is doing this because some way, somehow on the back end, it's going to benefit us. First of all, we're going to gain a new ally in the Ukrainians for a very long time, which means we now have access into Russia, because we'll be right across the street from them. And that could end up being a host of value in the future. But we're not just giving money and giving weapons away for no reason at all. There's a lot to be gained in this over time. You just don't see it right now because it's in the beginning stages.
Yeah, and definitely. And then I heard earlier somebody was saying that the left is always talking about Kamala's race and or heritage. But at the same time, when did we say that? I mean, just being honest, when did we say that? What Democrat, what liberal ask anything about what she is or really isn't? And like, I mean, I've
never heard of liberals trying to say that Kamala Harris is not black. I mean, even the hardcore pro-black people have not indicated that they have not accepted this woman as a black person. Most of the people who are saying that are on the right, and most of them are not even black themselves. I don't know why they're doing it. I don't know.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, I know you have the hat, but that's a different. I understand. Just know that I understand. You have the hat, but I know the reason you have the hat because you run a just live. You allow everybody to speak, including MAGA. Mm-hmm. But when you speak MAGA, it's very entertaining. So the hat is an entertaining beacon because we are entertained when you guys talk. I mean, it's just y'all out there. Just trust me.
You know, the crazy thing is, I had somebody. The crazy thing is, I had someone come on a show that was not MAGA. I think they leaned left and told me that this hat will go down in history as a symbol of racism. I'm like, what? Similar to the Confederate flag. They said this hat will go down in history as a symbol of bigotry.
Yeah, I mean, it is in a sense right now. Whenever we see "Make America Great Again" for those black folks that are in the rural areas or in the city areas or whatever area you're in, when you see that "Make America Great Again," you know who you're dealing with. You know that at any moment it could pop off, it could go bad. So you try to be civilized, but at the same time, you gotta still let them know, hey man, I ain't playing either. So yeah, that MAGA hat.
But there's a lot. But wait a minute. But Stick, there's a lot of blacks that wear the MAGA hat. You don't see them as racist, do you?
I see them as your boy on Django, Steven. Yeah, I see them as that. Now, again, you're not in that club because, again, I know why you have that hat, because you let everybody speak. Cool, fine, I'm good with that. I'm glad that I get to hear the stupidity that comes out of their ears. Like,
wait, it's coming out of their ears?
Yeah, it's coming out of their ears. Not even out of their mouth. It's coming out of their ears.
Oh,
it's
wow.
All wax.
Okay.
It's all on wax. Yeah, it's all wax. But the even DJ Julio, like, I don't have a problem with him personally. Maybe I have a problem with his views because you got to explain more than it's a human being and it's this and it's that. It goes to the fact that it's, again, your decision. I raised you right. That's what he was trying to say. I raised you right. You should be able to make good decisions. You shouldn't just be laying down with anybody. You shouldn't just be getting pregnant. I get that part. But the part that he's not getting is, along with that, the government shouldn't be in your doctor's office. Yeah. The government should not be in your bedroom. The government should not be able to tell you if you get pregnant in this state, you can't go to another state. Yeah. And if we find out you did, we're going to arrest you and charge you and all of this. Yeah. Like,
that's like, coming.
It's too much. It's too much.
It's too much, and but that does have a potential of being a reality, and I'm not going to even sugarcoat it. I give you the last word. I do got to move it on, but yeah, that could actually become reality very soon.
And again, they don't even talk about the grape and incest thing with how this world is. I mean, they talk about sex trafficking and all of this stuff, but they ain't talking about what if one of them little kids get pregnant.
Yeah. And there's an example in Ohio of that already happening, and they wanted that 10-year-old who was raped by a relative, by the way. So it would have been incest. It could have been a DNA issue with the child because of the closeness of the impregnation of the person that did it. And they were still going to make that 10-year-old have that child in Ohio. That kid went to Indiana to terminate it. So it does exist.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And
all right,
Stick. And that's the point.
Yes, that's a bad one, but appreciate it.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you. Moving on with the program, by the way, Google, Apple, FaceTime, Facebook, Twitter, all owners of our government. Anybody with a lot of money can buy a piece of the government. That's just the way this country is. You know, we believe in, and certainly with the Supreme Court, kind of make it so that bribing is okay. You're saying that Google and Facebook and Twitter and, anybody with a large amount of money likely has some government Trump had government influence. Didn't he come on the scene and admit it? Isn't that what he ran on? Is I know how both parties work because I've been paying them both off? Anybody with a large amount of money likely runs our government, at least to some degree. Maybe just on the city, local level, but you still can get a hell of a lot done even at that level. Maybe state, maybe national. But if you got a bunch of money in one city, you can have permits, you can sidestep permits, you can sidestep rules and regulations. You can do all kinds of shit in one city, and that enriches you. So, yeah, I don't deny that Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, who you're talking about, may have some control over the government. I don't disagree with that. But like I said, you can do it at your city level as well if you have enough money. That's just the way our government works. By the way, I do appreciate the 160,000 likes on the TikTok side of the owl. And certainly for you folks on YouTube following the program as well. Thank you for the likes on the program. As always, we say we are uncensored. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. You don't have to agree with the host. You don't have to agree with anybody else on the damn program. You get to speak. That's how free speech works. We are MAGA friendly. Been that way since day one, always will be, but liberals get to speak. So as always, folks, if you favor that type of programming, follow the program on TikTok. Lisa, thank you. Subscription on YouTube if you will. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. It's your boy, Tim, the handsome liberal. I gotta go. And on YouTube, real quick, start taxing people who own more than 20 single-family homes, and the housing crisis will solve itself. Yeah, but that's government regulation and oversight, and the right would immediately try to shoot it down. It's your boy, Tim, the handsome liberal. Gotta go.